Hello, 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 lovely humans, beautiful humans everywhere. How are you doing? Sorry, I'm a little bit later getting started than I would have aimed for. I forgot I hadn't set up OBS and everything to view my desktop and things, because I'm doing something a bit different tonight, which is some dev work, which is just massive amounts of fun. Do a big swoosh so you can see my face. Hello. Hey Mary, how's it going? Welcome, you big contrarian. It's joke, because it says Mary quite contrary. Anyway, I do talk a lot of shite. So I am gonna do some. I'll just close Discord. Don't need to see that. So I'm going to do some development works, which will be immense amounts of fun. And this is what we're going to be working on. This is my my audio reactive pinball machine, which is built in Unity. So this is Unity here, and if I hit play on this, it'll build. It takes me a while for the first build. And then you hear it. I need to turn my mic off. There we go. I forgot I had Ableton running in the background, so there's audio playing into it, because it reacts to audio, so I need to be playing music, but I had my mic running through Ableton, so it was doing all this stuff. It's going on like, whoa, yeah, whoa, and I don't need to be doing that. Don't need to be doing that just now. So I've got Ableton basically just permanently running in the background, and that's what's driving this to react to things. Just turn the volume down because that's very loud for me. Hope it's not too loud for you. Oh, I don't have desktop audio. There you go. I'm going to hear that now. Let's turn that down a bit. Cool. So this is designed and built just now essentially to run specifically on my setup, and it's like the channel name's hard coded into it. The sound device that it listens for is hard coded. And there's a few other bits and bobs that I want to change, which is what I'm going to be doing just now. But this all reacts with Twitch chat. So if I go into Twitch chat and do pinball on, then I'll switch it on so it's ready to play, and then anyone in chat can just do !play, and that will then allow them to start playing the game. But if yes. So this is one of the things I want to change. So in the minute it says ready to go, and then it says you press !launch to launch the ball, and then that fades because obviously that's quite a big sort of window across the thing, and you get 3 balls, and I don't think I've made that obvious enough that you get 3 balls. Oh, this is another thing I want to change, is that this ball gets stuck up here sometimes. Hang on. Let me just stop the music for a sec. Let it just fall. Oh, come on. Stop looping. Hang on. Where are you? You're up here. You go up here. There you go. Oh no, I switched off. I'm an idiot. Anyway, switch the music back on, although you won't hear it because the game's not playing. But yeah, so there's 3 balls, and you need to launch. You need to hit !launch each time, which becomes awkward because players don't see all the time the things you need to do, and I want to make it more automatic. I want to make it so that you'd hit !play, and then it would just fire the ball for you, and then it would fire the second ball for you, and fire the third ball for you, so you don't have to do !launch all the time. And thank you. I think it looks really sweet. I like the way it's gonna hit play on it again because God, I love it. I do like the way everything reacts. I can show the script for that in a second. But essentially, each of these objects, if I go into the scene here, like say this big object here, what I've got here, these are scripts that I've written. So I've got the frequency scale, and what that does is it looks for, I've set up 10 frequency bands in the audio spectrum that relate to octaves. So I can choose which octave this is listening to. So this is listening to 4, which is kind of like mid-bass, which is where you get like sort of bassy sounds and like sort of kick drums and stuff. Oh, thank you very much for the subscription, you absolute legend. Yes. So I can change what frequency band it's listening to and basically say, right, I want some things reacting to, that's how I've done like these things with the bars and these things. So each of those blocks is reacting to a different frequency or group of frequencies. And then over here you can see I've got the minimum scale and the maximum scale. So basically what I do is I say, okay, within that frequency band, when it's at this, when the volume of that frequency band is the lowest, you are this scale X, this scale Y, and this scale Z. And then when you're at your maximum, you are this scale X, Y, and Z. So I can basically specify how small it goes and how big it goes depending on the audio input. Similarly with the color, so I can set which band it's listening to, and then I've got minimum color and maximum color. So in this case it goes from blue to white, so that when its beat is kicking in, it goes whiter, which is what I've done for most of them. But I can tweak that. I can basically drop those scripts. The way Unity works, I can drop those scripts onto any object and make them react with whatever color I want to whichever frequency band I want, or same with scale, make them scale in any way that I want. So that's neat. I like that. And the smooth time basically just defines how quickly it reacts to things. So that's cool. I'll switch back to game mode so you can see what it looks like normally. And the flippers, they've got something slightly different on them. Where are they? I love the fact that I've got an object called Winhole. That's it's the winholes. Everyone loves a winhole. Shocking. It's just shocking, really. The bottom section. So left flipper and right flipper have got something that's a bit more specific on them. So these have got hinge joints and rigid bodies, and rigid bodies basically just something for the Unity physics to react to. You're basically saying this is a solid object that things hit. So the rigid body's on there so that the balls will react with it, and the hinge joint is the point that it pivots round. And then I've got this frequency flipper script where I can basically set which band that it reacts to. And I've got a limit there which basically says above this volume flip. So these flippers are reacting to slightly different bands. You'll see the right flipper is set to band 5 and the left flipper is set to band 2. So the left one's reacting to like bass, and the right one, the left one's reacting to like bass, and the right one's reacting to more like sort of mid-range sort of snare. Which is cool. That all works. I'm very happy with all of that. All looks amazing. So the way that I've got all those scripts running means that I can very easily, when I build this stuff, I'm basically just putting like square, okay, the square goes from, in the background the squares go from like green to yellow, just duplicate that, and then sort of build up different objects. So you're creating little, what are called classes, and those classes you just stack on top of things, and each one giving them like different effects. So that's all good, that's all works, and it looks amazing. But if we come in here, so Pinball Game Controller, this is the script that dictates how the game is played. So I'm going to switch this off. better. Yeah, okay, so the pinball game controller, what that does, so move my mic closer to my face because my wife is getting up very, very, very early in the morning. So this is where I need to do the first little bit of work. So what I've got is a bunch of methods in here. So pinball on basically starts and switches the machine on. I want to have a state where the machine can be switched on or off. So that it's, if you're not using it, it isn't running in the background and just doing stuff that you don't want it to be doing. You don't want to have people playing on it when the streamer's focused away from it. So you can switch the game on and off, which is handy. So player ready, and that's what fires when you hit ! play. So that changes this game state parameter, or property, I should say. It's important to get the right lingo. And that does a bunch of stuff. So it updates the current player. So in here, you see when it fires player ready, passes in the string, which is the player's name. So it sets that to the current player, or it sets the current player to that string rather. And then the UI display is an object which controls how the overlay works. So here we're basically updating the balls remaining, setting the current score to 0. Then reset ball basically just puts the ball in the spawn point. Then it does a bunch of stuff, and then it hits, like, says to the player, okay, we're ready to go now. Ball's in position, we're ready to go. And then that allows the player to, that's game state here, player ready, allows the player to launch the ball. And that's hello Tambo number 5. Doing a bit of software dev. We are indeed a little bit of Unity on this bad boy, which, if you've not seen it, does this. Which is nice. I like it. Which is all built by my fair hands, and that's reacting to, I basically just got some music playing in the background on Ableton, and the purpose of this is to build something that I can use when I'm doing music streams, and then to release it to other people to do music streams. My brain could never get around coding in college, probably want to take the cyber networking route. It's fair enough. Development's a weird thing. It's one of those things I always found, like, I found it really difficult at first to get my head into it. But the languages I was using at the start were fucking nightmare. Because I first learned using PHP, which is just fucking insane. Like, PHP is one of the weirdest languages to write in because it doesn't have any controls over it. This is all the code that's running. This is the main game script, and this is in C#. And C# I find very, very, very nice to write in. Like, being so used to PHP development and then moving into C#, it was just like, oh, this is so much fucking easier. Like, why have I been banging my head on fucking walls for so long when I could have just been writing stuff that's dead easy? Because one of the main things about this, by comparison with PHP, is that this is what you would call very strictly data typed. So up here you've got, these are like the properties, these are the variables that are attached to this class. And so this game state variable, that's a string, which basically just means it's a bunch of text. You know, it's text code that's in there. That's the data that's in there. So if I tried to send the number 0 into that, unless it was a string of the number 0, you know, if I tried to send the mathematical value 0 into that, it would just be like, nope, that's wrong. And then it would throw up a big error going, this is wrong. And then it would also basically point to the fucking line that you've got wrong in your code and go, that's where it's fucking up. And you're like, oh, cool, nice. Whereas PHP just goes, white screen, you have no idea what's happening, it's just broke. And you're like, cool, thanks. Got some language in college called Robot C for Vex Robotics in college. That sounds weird. C's one of those like base languages that's been pushed in so many different directions, like C++ and C# and a lot of other sort of variations that It's kind of weird because they're all very different and yet they're all very similar. But I like C# because it's all very very formulaic, and if you step a tiny bit outside the formula, outside the patterns that you're writing in, it just breaks. So it's like once you get to grips with that pattern, it's like it becomes so easy. Do you know what I mean? It's like having your driver's test. Once you sort of know the rules of the road, it's like that just becomes embedded in your brain, and all of a sudden you don't have to think about it anymore. You just drive. I was with people on level 6 and NQs were doing stuff like Python, Java, and C#, and we were like, "Why are we taught robot C?" Yeah, I don't get that. C#'s a perfectly fine language to start with. I've not done any Python or Java, but as I understand it, I mean, they're just. I mean, I don't understand why you have languages that are designed as like teaching languages. When I'm like, all you're going to do is you're going to teach people one thing, and then after they've finished using that, you're going to teach them something different. So why not just start off doing C#? Just start off learning the thing that you're going to use. That makes more fucking sense to me, really. But yeah. So another thing as well is that you need to declare everything. So like at the top of this script, it's basically saying we're using these systems, these are sort of root classes, and using the Unity engine class, and that basically exposes a whole bunch of stuff to you, which is nice. But yeah, so what I was doing, or what I'm planning on doing, is automating part of this process. So there's an update function, which I'm not actually running on this. Is it running at the bottom? It shouldn't be. I normally don't write it to run at the bottom. No, it's not. Cool. So in Unity, we have this start function, which is called every time the game starts. You use that to set stuff up, basically. I know a bit of Python for malware analysis and pen testing is pretty much as advanced as coding gets me. Like Python's really good as a utility language. It's a lot of AI and stuff like that is built using Python. It's very, very good for like big, heavy, data intensive stuff. Pen testing's fun. I always find it funny. Like being a web developer mostly, a lot of devs hate pen testers. And they get really weird when people come in and start finding all these like holes in the security of their codes, and people are like, "Oh, it's fucking me," and I'm just like, this is an opportunity for you to learn, dickhead. This is an opportunity for you to figure out how you can make your code better. Someone comes in, penetration tests your setup, and finds a lot of backdoors that people can exploit, then it's your job to close them, not get pissy about it. I always find that really funny, because we used to get my last job before this one, we had a tester that came in, wasn't doing pen testing, it was more like UI testing, and so many devs got like really annoyed with him. I remember that when he came to me, because he was really fucking good, like really good at his job. Like he would go through fucking everything. He would be like, you know, from an accessibility point of view, all of these things wouldn't work for screen readers, and the color and this doesn't have a high enough contrast ratio and all that kind of stuff. And I remember he came up to me and he was like, he kind of gave me this like little sort of preamble, you know, that way where he was kind of like, I'm expecting you to be pissed off with me kind of thing. So he was like, you know, I just want to let you know that it's my job. I'm not here to piss you off. You know, it's my job to sort of find the problems so we can make the whole system better. And I was like, mate, just stop right there. Like, tell me everything. Just no holds barred. Just fucking tell me everything that you find that's wrong, because without that, I can't make this better. So let's go right through it from the fucking ground up. And he was like, oh, thank fuck. Someone that understands how this shit works properly, rather than just taking it really fucking personal. Better find the flaws. Exactly. Because if you've got a popular system, in that job, it was a big project that I was working on, and it's like, if you've got a system that people are going to try and get into it, people will get into it. There's no two ways about it. People will find fucking exploits, and it's better that you find them first. 1,000,000%. Yeah. Dev chat. It's so much fun. It's the best fun in the world. Okay, so what I need in here is I need an update. So I do have some this editor that I'm using is called Visual Studio Code, which is a really nice, quite light code editor from Microsoft. Bizarrely, actually doing good fucking shit. Hey, Donnie, just arriving with the wee man just as soon as I swear. Hi, Ben. How's it going? My brother, ladies and gentlemen, chat. The wonderful Donnie. Didn't realise you were this clever. Thanks, bro. So kind. Like, have you seen? Did you see it? Did you see it? I know you saw it on the. You saw it in the charity stream. In case Ben didn't see it, look at this. Look at this. All that stuff there I made, including all the music, which is being played in the background all the time. Anyway, so I need an update function. So if I basically just start typing update, it basically has it auto completing for me. Actual class. Yeah, it's actual class. It really is. The weirdest thing when I first started learning software is that like there's two things that really make your life a lot fucking easier when you're doing software, and that's having a lot of really nice plugins that sort of do auto-completing code and code sniff for you so they find all the problems, and being able to Google and knowing how to look up references. You know, I look up stuff all the time, and I mean like all the time. I forget like even some really basic HTML stuff. I'm just like, how do floats work? Like seriously, what's the point of them? I have to actually look up reference documentation for stuff like that. So it's like people think that when you get to the sort of software engineer sort of stage, must run in the family. Aye, no, absolutely, absolutely. That sound-reactive pinball machine that you built was great. Totally just ripped it from you, bro. See, this is what happens. I forget the thing that I was talking about 2 seconds ago. Google's honestly your best friend. 1,000,000%. Saving me in your third year uni networking. Legit, I forgot how to subnet another day. It comes from Mac. Yeah, exactly. You look up the documentation, you find the method you're looking for, and then you're like, right, okay, that's the thing. I've actually landed jobs specifically because in the interview they've been like, how would you solve this problem? And I'm like, I'd Google it. That's what I do. I would just Google, because someone else has had that problem. Guaranteed someone else has had a problem or something very, very, very similar. So you take that error code, you stick that into Stack Overflow, and then you find some guy who's probably an arsehole. Because most of the comments that you see on Stack Overflow from people like, what's wrong with you? How could you not figure this out? This is the answer. I'm like, mate, just tell me the answer. You can go back to your petty little fucking personality boost to yourself. But yeah, like once you sort of get used to languages and get used to the sort of patterns, then after that, finding out the specific syntax, finding out the things that you need to put in what order, is just, it's just part of the job, really. But yes. So what I need to do is, so end ball, this is basically what's going to happen. At the minute, end ball basically sets, goes into reset ball, and reset ball is what allows the player to start again. Our yearling lectures pretty much teaches that methodology. Just if you're stuck at Google it, yeah, someone's had that issue before. 100%. That's daily. Like genuinely, that's daily. The other thing about software engineering is that like, if you ever stop trying to teach yourself new things, if you ever stop trying to learn more, then that's it. That's you. Career pretty much just gonna like stagnate after that. Like, you need to be constantly learning, and that's 90% of my job, is just like, anytime I come to build something new, it's not like I build something new and go, I know all the parts for this and I know how to assemble them. It's like I build something new going, I have a rough idea of what sort of structure I want to do this in, but every step of that process I'm trying to figure out what goes where and how it should work, and learn new things about how you can sort of bring stuff together. Because like languages update so often and all that kind of stuff, it's like they're constantly evolving. So if you stop learning, then you know you're gone. Yeah, so I need a timer first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a private float, which is basically a number that has very small, like 0.000 whatever is a float. An integer is a number that's just like 1, 2, 3, doesn't have any point, whereas a float is a number that's a very precise value. So on public float, and I want player timer equals 0. Now normally with floats you would do 0f to let it know that it's a float and it's different from an integer, but C#, if you just put in integers values for floats, if it was 0.5 I would have to put the f in. Just, I mean, I could do it, but I don't want to. So public void update, what I want to basically do, say hello class cunt. Thank you. Going to watch some TV. Good luck with the pinball. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I've got the whole thing working just now. All I'm trying to do is just tweak it so that it's more automatic, so that people in chat don't have to do too much to get it going. I do have some other plans for something else that I'm going to add on to this, because the whole idea with this is I'm actually called this Twitch Visual Toys. It's not just going to be the pinball machine. There's going to be different things in here that are going to be like sound-reactive games that music streamers can play with. So yeah. But yes, always good to see you. Tambo number 5. Tambo number 5. Got Tambo watching pinball. Something. That is all. Anyway, so in this update, this is a function that runs every frame. All the rest of these functions and stuff only happen when you tell them to happen, but everything that happens inside this update is just that update's constantly looping. Every time the computer has a frame, like if your game's running 30 frames a second, that update function is running in every single one of those frames. So this is where you make timers happen. So if I basically just say if, and I want player timer is greater than 0. Yes. You should be down there. No. Open brackets. Okay. And then I'm going to say player timer minus equals, which is another way of saying equals itself minus. Minus equals time, which is like a global state, a global class that has a bunch of stuff. So we'll go time dot delta time. Now basically the delta time is the difference in time between each frame. So every frame that's going, right, okay, how much time was there since the last frame? Okay, take that time off. So it basically makes that timer just count. So if player timer is greater than 0, do that, which is fine. And then we're going to say, so I want game state player ready. So if player timer is less than or equal to 0, because it can be less than 0 in this case, and game state, yeah, game state equals. So one of the weird things just in programming in general is the difference between equals and equals. And equals 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 is that you use them at different times. You would say something equals something if you're changing a value. So if you're setting something, if you're saying I have a variable here and I want that variable to equal 1, you would say that equals 1. But if you're doing an if statement, if you're testing a value, you would say equals equals, because otherwise the program doesn't know the difference, doesn't know the context of equals. So if you're testing if A is the same as B, you would say if A equals equals B. You would use 3 equal signs if you wanted to make sure that it was exactly the same, because there's some conditions which are roughly equivalent. Like if you've got an integer and you've got a float, that are both numbers, they're both numerical values, but one is a fixed integer and another one's a float. You could say if that equals equals that, and if they're both 0, then it would pass. Or if you said if something is false, there's a lot of different conditions that can count as false. So if you say if that's false, but the value hasn't been created yet, then that's still technically false in a way. But if you say equals equals equals, then it has to be the exact same, has to be set at false. Otherwise it won't pass if something hasn't been created. And you say if that is false, and it's like, well, it's not false, it's not been created. So there you go. Okay, so when the timer reaches 0, what we want to do is, what's the launch pinball? Cool. Cool. So basically this is going to run automatic. We're just going to say launch pinball. And that should save. So when we sort of jump in, so player ready, that basically checks if game state is waiting player, we reset the ball. Okay, once the ball's reset, we'll then set the counter to be more than 0, and that'll then trigger that process. So player timer equals 5 seconds. Yeah, 5 seconds seems good enough. Okay, so this now should remove the need for players to hit exclamation mark play, exclamation mark launch. But if a player does hit exclamation mark launch, when pinball launches, we're going to set that player timer to 0 just in case someone fires that. Because if you want to fire within that 5 seconds, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to take that functionality out, but I'm going to set that. So player timer equals 0. Yes. Okay, save that. So now when I build this, one of the good things about Unity as well is every time you make any changes to the code, when you switch your window back to Unity, Unity goes, all right, hang on a minute. I need to look over what you've done just in case you fucked something. I'm not saying that you have, but you might have. And in my case, probably have. So anytime you switch back to after making code changes, Unity actually looks through all your code and goes, is that right? And if it's not right, you get these things. Compiler errors. Yay! There's no given argument that follows the formal parameter. Player launching. What? You can also double click on it and it tells you exactly where that is. What are you saying here? There's no given argument that corresponds to the required formal parameter player launching. Launch player string. What are you talking about? That we're saying where the line is. No, it's saying line 35. Why is that wrong? If player timer is less than or equal to 0, yeah. Let's just tighten up that and just see if that helps. Nope. This is also the fun thing. Debugging things. Right, I'm going to take this out so I can just check. And it's saying the problem is launch pinball. If I comment this out. Okay. Will this build? Okay. Not sure what's wrong with calling launch pinball at this particular juncture. Oh, I need to pass the player in. Do I? I'm calling launch pinball. Launch pinball has player launching, so that should just be current player. Oh, I've got that. It doesn't need launch. Oh, I put that in as a security measure because anyone that tries to fire exclamation mark launch, it runs that function. Okay, so I need the player string to be the same as that. Okay, so yeah, that should just be current player. Always check your method signatures. There we go. Now we're not getting any compile errors. See, it's very handy. Back in my days of doing PHP, that would never have happened. It would have just like crashed and then be like, guess. Whereas in this case, it's like, see this line in your code, that part of it, and that's not right. I'm like, alright, thanks. So, pinball on. So if I then go play, I should set me to be the player. And then after 5 seconds, it should launch automatically. And then just going to check that it runs through. Oh, it's launching straight away. Right, okay, so I'm setting the timer at the wrong place. Let's play ready. Play ready only happens once. Oh. Excuse me. So I need that to set. Play ready happens when someone hits exclamation mark play. I need that to happen also when the ball falls through the hole. That fires the end ball. So I want that to be in here. If balls remaining is greater than 0, player timer equals 5. And that'll then start that timer again. So this. Okay. Pinball on. Yes. Play. Yes. You'll see down here, there's a bunch of stuff that triggers every time I put certain commands in, and that's a console. So I basically got in the code, I've got things that say console.log this thing. So essentially when certain stuff happens, I want to know what's happening. Hang on, for testing purposes, I don't really want the music to be playing, so I'll just switch this off. Okay. Now obviously the pinball machine won't react, but it will still play. So that should just fall down. This is ready to go, exclamation mark launch to start. But it'll just launch anyway. Cool. Balls remaining 0. Game over. Which means my player has now been kicked off. If anyone else from chat wants to just hit exclamation mark play, then they'll be able to test. They'll be able to then test that for me. just do it myself. Exclamation mark, play. Okay. And that should then restart. And that should then fire. Yes. Cool. Okay. So I'm convinced that works. Okay, so we've made that automatic. I just need to update. So canvas instructions text. Pinball launch. Ball fires. Ball launches really use the same terminology. Ball launches automatic. I almost typed automagically there. Ugh. Ball launches automatically after 5 seconds. Cool. So that's updating that text up there. Right, cool. So that was one of the problems that I had, was that players would exclamation mark play and then either not hit launch because they didn't realize that they had to, because why would you need to? And also after each ball they wouldn't hit launch. Or what was also happening was some players were hitting exclamation mark launch, but there's a timeout on Twitch. So if you hit the same, if you say the same thing, if you spam the same text in chat, Twitch goes, oh no 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 no. At least I've got a bot that goes, oh no 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 no. So people weren't able to launch balls, and it just slowed the whole thing down. Now that's happening nice and automatically. That's cool. Next thing I wanted to add into this was a list of players. So just to make the whole process, you know, again, still more automatic. So what would happen is everyone would hit exclamation mark play, and that would then create a list of all the people that want to play, and then it would just cycle through that list. You know, if there's someone in the list that wants to play, they start. And it would just kick off automatically. So again, we're just trying to make the whole thing just more automatic, because the less things that chat need to do and the less things that the streamer needs to do, the better. Do you know what I mean? It's, rule one of UX design is to make things as easy and streamlined and obvious as possible. The minute you make something not obvious, people just stop. Worst thing you can do, and this is going to sound really weird, but it's very true, in terms of design for UX or UI, any kind of interface where people are interacting with something, if someone has to think about what they're doing, then you've fucked up somewhere. People shouldn't have to think about what they're doing. People should come to this and know exactly what it is they need to do straight away, and not have to like try and figure out the next fucking step, or figure out where the options menu is, or figure out any of that kind of stuff. It should be obvious. So that's what I'm trying to do, is just streamline that. All right. So I'm going to go back into our script. So what we're going to do at the top of here, so we've got current player. So we need current player. But above here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an accidental bracket, and I'm going to create public string, and then I'm going to put these wee brackets after that. Oh no, you don't do that in C#. It's list of type string, not strong, string. Think. See, this is again where I need to look things up. I'm very used to writing stuff in TypeScript, which is a form of JavaScript that's very, very, very similar to C#. But there's enough irritating differences to trip me up. So I need to just Google shit. C# list of type C, type T. Okay, so I'm going to look for Unity specific C# list. And this like this is the thing, right? This is fundamental stuff. Like really, really, really fundamental basic stuff. And I've been doing this for like well over a decade, and I'm still like Googling like, how does a list work? How does a list actually work? So it should actually be like string array like that. And then just say equals new string array. Why are you not highlighting though? Oh, because I've not fucking named it, that's why. Player list. Fucking hell. Player list. There we go. Cool. So in C#, there's normally in a lot of languages there's a data type called an array. An array is like a collection of different examples of the same data. So if you had a list of things, you would normally put that in an array. And arrays are very handily indexed. So you can basically say, get me the thing in this list that is at position 5, and it'll bring out whoever's in position 5. In C#, you get arrays, and you also get lists, which are less functional, but as a result use less processing power and less memory, because they don't have indexes. I want an array just now. Do I want an array or do I want a list? No, I need a list. I do need a list because arrays in C# are... Yeah, arrays in C# are non-expandable. You basically declare the size, and once you declare that size, it can't change. So let me list the string. Those brackets, because that's a function. Cool. Right. Use my brain while I try and catch up with what I'm doing. So now I've got a list. Okay, a list of players. So what I need to do is, anytime someone hits !play, it'll add their name onto that list. Well, it'll first check that list to see if their name is already on that list, and then it'll add them to that list. And that will just stop players from spamming !play, and then getting like 20 shots at the table. So we've got a list. At the moment it is empty. We've just instantiated it here, which basically just means created it, put stuff in it. But at the minute it is 0. It is of size 0. So player pinball controller, no, that's the one that's operating on the ball. Chat connection, yes. So just get rid of these. This is basically what's connecting to Twitch. So we've got the channel name here. Got the connection credentials. Now I've got a user account which I was going to use for RP streaming and Fallout called Pensioner Pretzel, and he was going to talk like this. So got connection credentials through Pensioner Pretzel's account, and yeah, so what I want to do is, and this is other stuff I'm going to do later on, is expose this channel name as a public variable rather than a private variable, and then allow there to be an options file that people can run. Because at the minute, everything's hard-coded into this. So basically, as soon as someone comes on, as soon as someone runs this, it basically just runs hard-coded onto my channel. I don't want that. When I release it, I want people to be able to put their own channel in and do what they want. Also, I need to stop the audio interface because it's hard coded to look for my specific sound card. And I want people to be able to select which input they're using. Okay, so this is where we've got all of the commands that go into Twitch chat. Don't need that either. Anything that says debug log, like once I'm finished debugging it, I don't need it anymore. Just good to get them out. So we can see here, Pinball on, this is for moderators or broadcaster, which is me, or basically whoever's channel it is. So these are the moderator commands: pinball on, pinball off, reset, which is if the ball gets stuck, they can reset the player. And that's things they can do. Hey, 10:30. Yes, game dev, some C#. Yes, some high quality Unity and C# development, which is fun. This is my pinball machine. I don't know if you've seen this. This is my audio setup. This is basically Ableton running, and I've got that running permanently in the background, and that's just feeding audio into my second sound card. So when I hit play on here, this will build, and then it reacts. And this is pin. This is now switched on. Oh no, it's not, because I can't. There you go. And now anyone can hit !! play in chat, and it'll automatically play. And that's all connected. You can play just now if you want. And I'm just adding in some extra things to make it run a bit more automatic, and adding in a list of player names so that loads of people can hit ! play, and then it'll just play one after the other. There you go, 10:30 Giant H. It does say ! launch to start, but I've taken that out so it just launches automatically now, because I had it before that you had to launch every ball, and that then got gnarly. Oh, this is another thing that I need to fix. As you can see, when the music's doing certain things, the ball gets stuck in this little corner quite a lot because they're bouncing up. So let me just pause this a wee sec. Go into your scene. Right, you then go there. That's where the fun things are. Back into the game. No one saw a thing. I do have a command that allows mods to reset the ball. Essentially, I need to add the timer back in for that as well, actually. But I need to change the angle. Just the angles of these wee things up here. But yeah, so that's how it works. I'll show you just quickly some of the code for this, or how some of this is working. So like all these objects here, if I click on any of them, so each of these hexagons up here. So these are scripts that I've written. These audio frequency scale. It's influenced by Ableton. Yeah, it's very similar in kind of style. I think that was kind of subconscious, to be honest. But you're very right. It kind of is. Originally, I was aiming to do something that was very like Designers Republic. I wanted to make something like Wipeout, to have that sort of like visual. But then I realised that it was because everything was going to be sound reactive, it would be really, really, really busy. Because like the Wipeout zone mode in sort of later Wipeout games was kind of something that I wanted to do, and I'm going to kind of build a few other things that react to sound to do that. But in here, these are the scripts that I wrote that run on this. Oh, you mean how the item responds? Yeah, totally, 100%. So yeah, these scripts, I can basically put these onto anything, and this one changes the scale of the object, the X, Y, Z. So I've got a minimum and maximum, and then I select which frequency band, which is like an octave, and just say if it's, listen to this frequency band, and when it's low, you're this size, and when it's big, you're this size. And similarly with this color, I can basically say when it's low, when that frequency's got a low volume, you're at that color, and then I can set different objects to different things. So, like for example, this is basically just a collection of cubes that have all got So this one's set to listen to the 9th octave, and then the bass one's to listen to the 0. So each of these scripts, as it goes up incrementally, that creates that sort of spectrum, essentially. And these pinball flippers are very similar, except they're connected to a hinge joint that gives that joint motor, gives that joint force. And again, they listen to different audio bands. That one's listening to 5 and that one's listening to. So one's listening for like bass and the other one's listening for like mid-range. And I can set the limit on how high the volume needs to be, how sensitive it is. It's audio data. It's all audio data. So one of the problems with this is that it needs to listen to an audio input. It can't listen to another program that's running because this doesn't have access to that, but I can listen to like a mic input, which is how my setup works. I've got 2 sound cards. I've got one sound card that plays out into the other sound card, and that then plays into OBS, because that reduces latency. If you're using like Audio Meter Banana, you can do it, but that introduces like a good like half-second latency. When I'm playing live keyboards, like that's just not good. I'm going to pull myself down here because there's fuck all happening down there. It's much better. Now you can see all the lovely stuff up there, which is also fuck all. But yeah, so it listens to a mic input, or if you're using Audio Meter Banana, that counts. You can set up an output input kind of situation in there. But yeah, it all just responds to the audio data. Yeah, so what I'm doing just now is, so this is the stuff that's connecting to Twitch chat. Thanks 1030, very kind. I'm planning on adding a few other things into this. I want this to be, now that I've got the scripts that react to the audio, and the scripts like this script here that reacts to Twitch chat, I can put any commands I want into it, and I can put any objects into that audio. So I want to do a few other projects that react to sound so that I can use them, or DJs or whatever that are playing on Twitch can use them, and they give chat something to play with. So I've got a few ideas for things like little racing games, kind of like Marbles on Stream, but like sound-reactive Marbles on Stream, and a few other things. And I had an idea. So I was watching Edinburgh's Nicest Boy, and well, watching. I saw Riot Bananas playing it as well, but Beck's chat was trying and failing this afternoon because it wasn't working. But it was a game called Chef Squad, and basically the way that works is it's kind of like Overcooked, but Twitch chat's playing it, and they've got commands they need to type in. Everyone's got their own command on screen, and the streamer sort of drags them in. And it comes that sort of manic kind of game. You're just, rather than falling out with your wife, you're falling out with Twitch chat, because that's what Overcooked does. It makes you fall out with people. And I was looking at that and I was like, I know that I've got all these scripts, I could build stuff like that quite easily. So I had ideas in my head for like tower defense kind of games. So people in chat could be like exclamation mark fucking whatever type of character they want to throw in, and then that would sort of have a character running in. The streamer would have to build towers and stuff like that. I thought that kind of stuff would be a bit more interesting, because the way that sort of game works, the Chef Squad, it's like you're meant to be working together with chat, but it just makes it kind of quite dry, because chat's just typing in commands. They're just looking for a thing, and it says, all right, okay, type slice onion, okay, type prepare onion. And I'm like, it'd be more fun if it was like you're against chat. Like chat are trying to fuck you over by chucking in the hardest things they can find and try to work together. So creating a game that would be strategic for both people. But that's next. That's next project. This is the current project, which I keep getting sidetracked on. Anyway, so this is where we are. I need to be careful not to scroll up too high. There's important things up there. So this is where I write all the commands. So basically, any Twitch command, we basically fire them in here. So this pinball game controller player ready, I need to change. Okay, player ready. So if game state equals awaiting player, then this will all fire. Now, I've created a list up here of players. So what I need to do is okay, so player ready is actually starting that player playing. So what I need to do is I need to change this. This isn't launching player ready, this is launching something else. So I'm going to create a new method on here. So public void. Void is when you write in C#, that's what's called a return type. Anytime you write a function or a method, you have to say what that function is doing. So if you write a function that multiplies a number by 2, you would say public number or public float, depending on what kind of number you're using, and then multiply by 2, and then that knows that when that function's run, something comes out at the other end of it. But if a function or a method doesn't have anything come out at the end of it, you just say void. So public void means this function doesn't send anything back, this just does stuff. So add player, and you want the string, which is the player's name. Yes. And what's this going to do? This is going to go, right, I need to remember, this is bit of Google foo. See, I normally write in my day job, I write in TypeScript, as I was saying earlier, and it's so similar to C# in like 99% of it, and then like the 1% that's different, it just totally trips you up and I have to Google it. Check if item is in list, please. Which is really fundamental stuff. If list contains, okay, cool. So, add player. If player, oh, that's not the one. Hey Panther, how's it going? Sorry, I had Google up while I was investigating how to check if an object is in a list. Oh, that was you. That was you. Welcome. How you doing? If player list contains player name. Going goo. How are you? Ooh, that was me going goo. How are you? I'm alright, the new. Sorry. Just fuck it. Talking complete balls. Return. Why is that not? I need to put that in brackets. I'm doing alright, yeah. I'm just trying to fucking update some nonsense. So what that should do is that should basically say if that list of players already has that player's name in, just stop this function. Return basically just goes end. So if you're writing a method that outputs something, like say if you're doing something that multiplies by 2, you'd be like return number times 2, and then that would spit that out the other end. But in this case, return nothing. Yes, welcome in Panther. I am doing some development stuff on my pinball machine built in Unity, which is fun. I don't know, have you seen this running, Panther? I'm not sure if you have. You have not. In for a treat. So essentially, right, I've got Ableton running in the background. This is great. I'm getting to show this to everyone. I love it. So I've got Ableton running in the background, and that's basically playing out of one sound card that I've got and into the other. And the other sound card is basically what this is listening to. So I hit play in this, and then you'll hear the music. There you go. And that reacts to it. Everything bounces about and looks cool based on the music that's coming in. If I come in here, I just stop all that. You see everything stops. So you still got the sort of the reverb fading away there. And if I go ! Pinball on. So if you now type in !play, then you'll get to play pinball. It will launch in 5 seconds, in which time I'm just going to start the music. Yeah! Like that. It's cool, isn't it? Thank you very much. So yeah, so all of these things, it does say !launch to start, but it will start automatically in 5 seconds. That's one of the things I've added in just now, just to make it more automatic. Is it going to get stuck up there? It is. This is another thing I need to take out, is stop this from happening. Because the ball just gets stuck up there when there's lots of high frequencies. If I stop the music, it should just roll off. Come on. Come on. Don't make me mute. Don't make me mute the reverb. We like the reverb. The reverb sounds nice. I have to mute the reverb. There you go. You just fall sadly down, and then it will launch the last ball. Pew. But then because there's no music, you just be really sad and be like, oh, fare thee well, wee ball. You were a good ball. Yay. Game over, Panther. You scored 2,425. Nice. So yeah, I had this running for a little bit when I did a 12-hour charity stream, and I had this sort of running for a couple of times I dipped into it, and I noticed there was a couple of pain points from a UX point of view, which was the fact that players had to hit !launch to launch the ball. So I've taken out the requirement for that, so it just goes in a 5-second timer now. And also I had to basically constantly say to people, you can type !play, and then loads of people would type it, but then only one person would play. And so what I'm doing just now is I'm adding in a list of players, and that basically means anyone can hit !play. It'll check, that's what this is doing, check if they're in that list, and if they are in the list, then that command does nothing. But if they're not on the list, then what we'll do is we'll go player.list, add player name, and again, because I'm not used to C#, wait, that should be like player list add. Yeah, there you go. I'm just going to double check that add is the right fucking thing, because I've not written in, I don't write in C# very often. C# list add. It is add. Okay. Cool. Bring back my chat, please. Thank you. Cool. So now what I want to do is come back to this chat connection. So when someone types !play, I don't want them to hit player ready with the username. I want them to hit add player. So what I need then is something that is looking for the right player state and is then adding in, or is kicking that player in to start. So basically setting the current player to be whatever player's at the top of that list. I can't remember if lists add in an ordered way. It should do. That should be index 0. Then remove that from list, and the next one that should be index 0, I assume. Let's find out. So, on our update function or method, this is what's running every frame. Every time you're every time your computer draws a frame, this update function runs. So I want to basically have something that's constantly watching in this update function for certain conditions. So the conditions I need are if game state equals, now I need it to be a waiting player. And player list, is it length? No, it's count, is greater than 0. Then current player equals player list at index 0. And then what I need to do is I need to remove that player from the player list. Player list. Is it remove? Again, this is 90% of my days just double checking how to call fucking really basic methods. Because I'm always just like, is that how you do it? Another thing that I find is when I go back to my day job, if I do a lot of like say if I'm doing a lot of stuff over a weekend in Unity or in C#, I'll spend loads of time remembering how to do stuff in C#, and then I go back to my day job writing TypeScript, and I'm like, how the fuck does this work again? And then have to relook up all the same basic fucking things. Remove. So if I say remove, am I removing the object at a particular index, or am I removing a specific thing? I would imagine I'm removing a specific thing. Sorry, I'm just looking up an example. Yeah, okay, so I would just do player list remove current player. Set the current player, and then I remove the current player from that list. Right. I think. I hope. Oops. That's my face. My face has gone very big. Why has my face gone very big? Move. You sure to move face cam? Wait, hang on. Why did you get so big? Apologies. I tried to save my fucking skill properly, you dick. Tried to save my script, and fucking for some reason OBS was like, you want your camera full size? I'm like, no, dickhead, I don't want my camera full size. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Anyway. Okay, so we go back in here. We're getting an error because Unity is very nice and it checks everything. So Pinball controller line 60. Oh, should have an extra. That's why return wasn't colored in. List does not contain a definition for count, or contains. Are they? Contains. Oh, it should be capitalized. Where am I? Don't tell me in here. So line 39, line 60. Line 60, that should be contains. Of course, it's capitalized. It's a method. Line 39, count. Excuse me. Yeah, Unity's cleared me for flight. That's very weird. Right, so if I hit play on this, come on, there you go. Now, where is my player controller? It's not in the canvas. Game controller. Okay, so we should have a player list here, size 0. Hello? That's very weird. Got some feedback through my microphone, I don't know why. Ghosts in the machine. So if I do !play, oh, that's so weird. It's like, I think it's coming through Ableton very quietly though. Switch my mic off fully. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. It sounds weird as fuck to you though. Right. So if I go back here, if I do !play, then what should happen? Oh no, I need to !pinball on first. Okay, so if I do !play, it sets me to be the current player, but it's not firing anything else. So that part is running okay. Okay, you can stop now. Perfect. So this is doing exactly what I was hoping it would do. So this is basically, it added me to that list, and because I was the only person in that list, in the next frame it went, okay, we're in the right state, that list is greater than 0, and it then put me as the current player and took me straight back out of that list again. So you didn't actually see me being in that list, it just ran straight through, which is good. Perfect, exactly as I'd hoped. But what I then need to do is fire, they're ready. Yes, I need to fire player ready. Player ready. Player. Can I expect an argument, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Cool. Excuse me. Okay, I could, at this point, I could technically take out the fact that this takes an argument. I could just say player ready because it knows what player is the current player. But I'm going to leave that in just now because I might, at a later date, have different game modes being available so that you can set it as a streamer. You can set it to make people hit launch, or you can set it so they don't if you want. It's up to you. I'm also going to expose a few other things as public variables, like the amount of time between shots and all that kind of stuff. But first things first. No errors. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay. So I should now do ! pinball on. Yay. I always think it says pin balloon. And then I want to do ! play. And I then become the player that's playing, and it should launch automatically. Yes. So now here you can see that I've got a player list which is still size 0. So if anyone in chat wants to hit ! play, that should add you onto that list. I'm going to try it, and I shouldn't go onto that list. I've gone onto that list. Okay, so that means that the... Oh no, I'm not. Right, hang on, if I do it again. That's okay, that's fine. Whoever's playing can put themselves back in while they're playing. That's fine. Okay, that's good. If anyone else in chat wants to do the same, it would be very, very, very helpful. Because then I can see that that list is working as a list. But what I might do is fire up an incognito window. If I go to Twitch TV, yes, I accept all your cookies. Num 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 num. Okay, I should be able to log in as Pensioner Pretzel. Someone did a thing. Snorbuckle. Hello, Snorbuckle. Thank you for the raid. How's it going? Hello, you're in a perfectly wonderful time. You and your wonderful reading people. Hello, some ugly nerd. Welcome. I think you're beautiful. So yeah, so I'm doing some development on stream. I'm building shit in code and stuff. Because I don't have time to do it when I'm streaming games. Let's combine the two. So this is a pinball machine that I've built in Unity, and the way it works is it reacts to sound. So this is Ableton that I've got. So if I just hit play on this, yes, it does that, and anyone in chat can play it by typing !play, and then you'll be able to play pinball. That's just fantastic. Thank you very much. Very kind. Yeah, I thanks. I built this to do when I do music streams. I play games sometimes as well, but I built this as something that the audience can play with while I'm doing music streams because it reacts to Twitch chat. So if I do !play, and it says, "Hey, Gusbo on Twitch," and then launches a ball. And if you all do !play, then you should get added into a list that I'm testing just now, and it should launch you too once it's finished with me. So Snorbuckle, as you can see on this list down the side, Snorbuckle has been added. If I do !play again, it should come in underneath Snorbuckle. You came at just the right time for me to test this. It's beautiful. Okay, so I've got one more ball left. It does, and I'll be honest, Wipeout 2097 was something I was kind of aiming for with a lot of the design. I kind of reeled it back in because the hang on, I'm going to switch off the music so that the ball just falls. Oh, it's so sad, it just falls. Yeah, Wipeout's amazing. So now it should launch Snorbuckle, and it's launched in Snorbuckle. That's great. My code works as expected. Beautiful. Yeah, I stole the color scheme from one of the teams in Wipeout. I originally wanted this to kind of look a bit like zone mode in sort of later Wipeouts, but I had to kind of rein some of the visuals back in because it was getting too confusing to see what was going on. So I kind of went for this sort of like stripped down kind of 90s sort of vibe. It's like the really bright poppy sort of pinks and yellows and stuff, which is nice. But I'm very nice. I'm very glad to hear that it reminds you of the Wipeouts because it's literally what I was going for. Excuse me. So one of the good things about what I've got here is that all of the scripts that make things react. So if I click on these, you can see down here, this is a flipper script, and that reacts to a specific audio band, and above a certain volume in that audio band, that flipper fires. And these objects here, they scale, they listen to a specific audio band, and they scale and change color. And all of these scripts I've written in ways that allow me, like here I can set the minimum XYZ scale and the maximum XYZ scale, and I can stick that in any object, make any object react to sound. And make any object react to the color. I can make its color react to sound. So I have a few other ideas for things that I want to build. So this project is basically at the moment just a pinball machine, but I'm going to have loads of different scenes that are like levels in a game, and each one is going to be a different toy that chat can play with while I'm playing music, or then when I release it, that any other streamer who does music, the chat can react to it, because it reacts to mic input or voice meter banana if you want to use something that's running. Min-max sort of seems like how Ableton macros work. Yeah, It's very similar, very similar. I work in Ableton a lot, so it's probably not surprising that a lot of the sort of base concepts work, because when you add like the is it MIDI effects? I can't remember which one it is. There's like loops, not loops. There's like LFOs and stuff like that you can add that change modulators. There you go, like envelope followers and LFOs. It's very similar to these kind of things. So it's like you basically you drag that on, like in Ableton you would drag that into so that you could drag that in here, and you basically just add that to that channel and then say, okay, within this channel watch that thing and react to it like this. And it's the same, very similar sort of vibe. I really want to find the time to do more Ableton. All my music energy is going towards piano right now though. I mean, that's fair. Time's a difficult thing. Time's in very short supply a lot of the time. Yeah, it's one of the reasons that I'm streaming this is because I've been streaming a lot of games recently, and I've not had any time to do this, so I'm like, I could just stream it. Kill two birds with one stone. Hope that people are interested enough to actually watch me write code. But yeah, it's weird. Just trying to find the right time to do things, because I want to. I do want to sort of stream more sort of projecty kind of things. Ableton's amazing though. Like, when I'm streaming, this is my streaming setup here. So when I'm streaming, basically I just sort of build all of these instruments, so that they've got loads of different, like each one in this bass channel, each instrument has got like 8 properties, 8 parameters that I sort of control, and then a bunch of effects over here that I control with 2 different
There is no mic consent. I always forget. But the good thing is, the mic now comes here and sounds really. But yes, so this is controlling the instrument itself, and this is controlling the effects that are being applied to it, which is nice. But if you ever need a hand with Ableton, give me a shout. Switch back.
I do. Switch it off. Yeah, I've been doing Ableton stuff for like 15 years now, probably. Got pushed and decided to a course, and everything, just got intimidated by it. Yeah. It's very easy to lose sight of how things are working, because there's so much going on at any one time, and it's like I've been using Ableton since Ableton 6. I think was maybe the first one I started using. No, that was the first one that I bought. Maybe Ableton 4 was the first one I started using, and then didn't necessarily buy it. Um, and now obviously we're up at Ableton 11. So I mean that's a good while. But there's certain things that when you get your head around how they work, it makes everything else pretty straightforward. But yeah, like as I said, if you ever want a hand setting stuff up or figuring out how to set stuff up or figuring out what to do with stuff, give us a shout, because I use Ableton for every aspect of audio production. And I'm a massive fan of how it works, especially for like live performance. Like when I'm doing my streams, the way I work is I basically play live and just play live keyboards and sort of record MIDI loops and drop in sort of drum loops and do sort of drum pad loops and stuff like that as well. And then just take a word from chat. I let chat provide me with words, and I basically just improvise. And then just keep going. So like there's non-stop, like a live set, like a DJ set, just constant. An amazing little piece of software, it really is. Yeah, it's a very mature piece of software. It's had a lot of the kinks ironed out over the years, and a lot of really nice functionality added in, and like provocative. Exactly, clubs. Ooh, welcome. So yeah, so it's like I'm very used to being able to sort of perform live with that, and just sort of create stuff on the fly. But at the same time, if I wanted to record or like structure a piece and then record like a part as like a single track and switch into the sort of horizontal mode and use it like a lot of other DAWs. That's what I kind of like about it, is the fact that you switch between the two. Hope you've well been on the lurk for a bit while I have some dinner. I'm very well, thank you, Cubs. Glad you're lurking away. Hope you're having something tasty. What you having? Tasty tasties. But yeah, Snowbuckle, as I said, if you hit me up if you ever need any hands, you ever need a hand with anything, I've got a good mate of mine, Altron, who the number of times over the years he's just like, he'll phone me up and he'll be like, right, okay, I've got a track in Ableton and I want like the bass to do a wub kind of sound, and I'll be like, right, okay, what you want to do is get this instrument, go into here, get this filter, set it like that, put an LFO on it, make it do that, tweak the resonance. He's like, yeah, but it's not quite the right time. And I'm like, right, okay, send it to like 1/6 in the LFO. And he's like, yeah, that's perfect. How do you know how to do this? And I'm like, 15 years of doing it, mate. Just 15 years of just painfully learning through experience. But yes, music's not what we're doing just now. 15 years of wubs, exactly. I don't know how many wubs that is. It's a lot of wubs. Over the years. But yeah, so we're building pinball machines. We're not doing music, no, although we're doing sound-reactive pinball machines. Yeah. You tell with C# and I'm a C# developer by trade, so I can help you out there. Happy days. I'm a software engineer, and I do most of what I do these days is TypeScript, which is very, very, very similar to C# in a lot of ways, but irritatingly just different enough in the syntax to make me go, what the fuck? You know. So I can handle. I've got tabs open. I've got tabs open like this one, which is basically just like, how do I check what's in the list? C#? Can't remember. Just Googling fucking. It's like I can write loads and loads and loads of stuff, and there's like one fundamental thing where I'm like, what's the method that I use for that again? It's just like, this is really basic stuff. My brain's just like, I can't remember that. I need to knock out some TypeScript knowledge for that. Anyway. Okay, so we've got our add player method working. So when someone connects in chat and they exclamation mark play, they're no longer jumping straight into the game, but they're getting added to a list of players, and then whoever's at the top of that list of players is getting automatically put into the game when the previous players are out. So that's smoothed up a few UX issues that I sort of had when I was doing my charity stream, where loads of people would like exclamation mark play and then nothing was happening because someone was already there and people were like, oh no, what's going on? So it's like it's removing that sort of time specific component, you know, where it's just like, oh, you're doing this at the wrong time, you need to wait for that thing to happen before you can do this. It's like, that's really bad UX. You want people to be able to like just hit whatever they want to hit and it should just do it for them. So that's good. Now what I need is I need a display in here that is going to display the list of players. So I'm going to do that. I mean, I could have one big text box that's just showing them all. Although I don't want to put a maximum list length. I might. What I need to do is then some public properties for things that streamers can change. So like maximum number of players, number of times between, sort of count time between balls, how much time do you have between your balls, maximum number of balls. So if someone's got like fucking, 200, 300 people in chat, then you want them to be able to be like, right, okay, everyone gets one ball, there's 2 seconds between each one, and there's a maximum number of 20 people at a time, and then you can just fire through. But these are all things that I've not got to yet. I'm going to do another piece where I'm going to wrap a lot of what I've got in here in nice handy config stuff for streamers to be able to change, because at the minute it's all just hardcoded. It's all just hardcoded because it's mine. It's all me. Oops. Right, okay, so to display this list of people, I can either have just one big text box and then just have that text box just displaying what's in the list, or I could have a nice little object and just loop through that object, or loop through the object to display each one. I think which would be better. Not sure. I've got a lot of space down here. I'm trying in the UI to leave a gap somewhere for streamers to put stuff, mostly their camera, really. So I'm quite happy for that to be in this bottom corner. In this bottom corner over here, I want to have like a list of all the next players that are ready. So if I come into switch off Pinball to canvas, that's what I want. Have you ever used Unity? Snore, or is it just like C# raw that you're using, or is it like .NET? I've got a bit of .NET. Our project that I'm doing at work is it's a .NET backend with an Angular front end. I do the Angular side, which is fun. So I'm going to create an empty game object. What use Unity, tried to learn a bit of Unreal, but didn't have an interesting project to do it in, so I got bored. I've tried a bit of Unreal myself, and because C# is so similar, it's .NET stuff you do. There's loads of CRUD APIs. Yeah, do a lot of them. Yeah, I tried to learn Unreal, because when I first started getting into like game development, I was like, I don't know if I want to use Unreal or Unity. One's apparently easier to use, and the other one's like apparently more powerful. and all that kind of stuff. And started looking into it. I was like, I got like a course on Udemy. You do like Black Friday deals where like there's courses you can learn fucking anything and it costs nothing. I got these two like really in-depth game dev courses, and imagine paying for it. I know, right? I know, it's ridiculous. But I got one for Unity and one for Unreal. The Unity one I kind of worked my way through, and I was like, you know, once I got to like the 7th or 8th, it was like 10 or 11 lessons. Once I got to the 7th or 8th one, I was like, right, okay, I don't need this course anymore. I can just riff off what I know, because C# close enough to TypeScript for me to be able to do what I need to do with it. And then when I looked at the one for Unreal, and it's written in C++, and just the difference in language, where it's like, oh yeah, if you want to access this memory location in your RAM, I'm just like, close to the processor am I getting this kind of shit? Like, I don't want to break an entire system. It's like, let me be a good few steps back and just like actually fucking hardcore operating the processor by hand. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't somebody guy in there pumping things up and down. It's fucking nuts. That's the hardcore stuff. Hardcore. Do you love your hardcore? Yeah, so I just patched it. I was just like, at that point, I was like, I'm going to make a reasonable decision to use Unity. That's fine. I'm sure I could learn Unreal, but like, for the kind of stuff that I want to do, you know what I mean? Like this kind of pinball machine, you know, game that looks like this, I'm like, I don't need the insanely professional level realistic lighting that you can get in Unreal if you know exactly what you're doing. Like, I don't need it. This is enough. The guy I worked with who shipped the game on Steam didn't know, no idea how he finds the energy of probably C# then original C++ in his spare time. Yeah, totally understand that. That's why I'm streaming this, because I don't have time. I find, in terms of energy, I find this easier to do because I'm much more motivated and more interested in it. Like, this is fun. It's fun building. Well, I'm saying that my day jobs. Music's a bit loud. Oh fuck, I shouldn't. I totally forgot that was still playing in the background. That's my bad. I shouldn't have even had that. It was chill though. Yeah, I mean it's from my sort of chilled out set that I did the other night. I totally didn't even realise that channel was still on. I just dropped that low. There you go. I mean that when the pinball machine was switched on, it would have been doubled up for all you. Yeah. Didn't even notice. Didn't even notice. Let's get another bit. Do you sound like? I mean, I'm sure it'll sound nice. Yeah, it sounds fine. Weird thing is, like, I'm not listening to that input that you're all hearing that music through, so I totally forgot that channel was even switched on. Apologies. Yes, okay, so I have created an empty game object that I'm going to hold all my stuff in. I need to create a UI image. That was a lot of fun to me. I had thought you were in. Oh, mate. Honestly. Yes. Color. I want it to be that. Please. And what size of these? Why is that not displaying? Let's just switch that off. Oops, that's the wrong one. Store display. Nope. Oh, that one. Yeah. Right, okay, so that's there. So this game object. So music display, that's one that's at the bottom. If we want to scene. Oh. Okay, so music display is up there. So I want this to be down at the bottom. 0, 0. And I want this to be to the bottom of that. 0, 0. Outside that. They're not referencing the canvas. Show me the canvas. Yeah. That's better. So that. To reposition bottom left that image. I don't want that to be like that. Yeah. That's cool. I want this width to be, well, what width are they? So, music display, image, 350 by 110. So I want that to be 350. Right. Keep it all the same. Always fuck myself up with these. So 175, and that should be 55. Yeah. So this canvas basically should be, that'll resize. So depending on what resolution someone's playing at, basically just anchor something to a corner or to the middle of it, and then it'll position itself differently for the HUD, for the UI, on top of whatever anyone's resolution is. So okay, so then I've just got a bunch of objects that have just got text. So I might as well rename this, even though I haven't renamed any of the others. It's still good practice. I'm only doing it because I know people are watching. Wouldn't do that normally because I'm a lazy bastard. So I want UI text. There you go. And this text is going to be called playlist. And that I want to be set to, what am I using for margins here? 20 in the X. Minus 285. What was that reference? Oh, that's a canvas. Okay. Just be there, please. So I want this width to be... so that's 350, so I want it to be 350, 310. Yes. I should have understood this stuff more. Yeah, it's one of those things that's like... It's a way of, when it comes to like this kind of thing, right? Writing code is very much a way of thinking. Once you understand how to structure things in your head, it becomes quite easy to sort of jump from one language to another because they all follow sort of the same patterns. This stuff, when you're sort of building a UI, in a lot of ways it's kind of similar to how Photoshop and that kind of stuff works, but then just with like added bells and whistles which are related to the coding sort of side of things. But it's, anyone can learn at clubs, honestly. I looked at Unity after my stream and was just like, I don't have time to learn this. Yeah, there is a lot, to be fair. I think it really helps if you have enough of a grounding in code to be able to sort of understand that side of things. If you don't know code, hey Kiri, probably changing all the music. Also have no coding experience. Yeah, there is a lot that you can do in Unity without code. There's a lot of packages and stuff like that that exist in the Unity marketplace that you can download and just apply these libraries of stuff onto your project. But generally speaking, each package you have to kind of figure out how it works and what it does and read the manuals for each thing. So there's a lot of grind. Stick to my silly little movie shorts. I mean, whatever tickles your pickle. But yeah, there's a lot of grinding to sort of learn how it all sort of sticks together. I want it to be that. I want it to be this colour. Lights, please. Thank you. I'm going to want to darken that background. Actually, it's a bit hard. But yeah, there's a lot of grinding to figure out how the whole thing sort of operates. But it's definitely worth learning, I would say. It was something that you were into. Is it Kitty again? Hey Kitty, where you going? No. I always tell when she wants something because she just walks constantly across me. He's like, play with me, play with me, play with me, play with me. And I'm like, nah, I'm trying to do stuff. Little kitty. Right, okay, so I want this height to be bigger. How big's that box? It's 110, isn't it? Okay, so 110 minus 40, 70. And position... bigger actually. 90. There you go. What? Hello, Domino's Pizza. Welcome in. How's it going? I am building a pinball machine. That looks like this. But it's not just any pinball machine. It is a pinball machine which reacts to That's the music. This music I'm also playing. And it also works with Twitch chat. You're a programmer. I'm a software engineer by trade, and UX designer and graphic designer and streamer and music producer and all the other things. But yeah, I am. This is my fun time. Yeah, clubs, Blender's amazing. There's so much you can do in Blender. I use it to create some of the basic shapes in this, but I've not quite wrapped my brain around how to do a lot of the really cool stuff. Blender's a really good thing to learn. Yeah, if anyone wants pizza, welcome in. How are you doing? How's your... Oh, so close. How's your week been so far? Oh, 2 days on it, I guess. Pew, pew. Pew, pew. But yeah, about this, because I do music streams where I sort of perform, like all this music is stuff that came from one of my streams where I just improvise stuff, and I wanted to have something that chat could play with. So about this, and I'm just kind of tweaking it and adding some other bits and bobs, because I noticed I played with it. I did a 12-hour charity stream and I had people sort of like fully using it for the first time, and I noticed a few things that were just a bit not quite right. The main one being that it was slightly awkward to play with, slightly awkward to sort of set up who was playing and how they were launching the balls. So I'm just kind of automating that just now. Just what we're doing. Just going to stop that and switch the music back on. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've got a few other ideas for this kind of stuff as well, because now that I've got the scripts that react to music, I can basically build whatever I want from that. So I wanted to build a few other interactive games for, Twitch chat to play with while people are streaming. So if someone was doing like a DJ stream or any kind of music stream, they could have, this pinball machine or like a sort of something that's kind of similar to marbles on stream but reacts with sound. That kind of stuff. Build a few wee games that people can play with. Which is nice. While I wobble fuck out of that camera. So yeah, that's where we are. That's where we are and what we're doing. What are we up to? And your stream, what are you doing? You playing some games, or are you doing some other things? Okay, so I need this player list text. Doing Spyro 2, nice. Spyro's one of those like game franchises that I've never played through. That way, there's just ones that pack it in if I want to do it. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's one of those franchises that I never sort of got into, like the whole 3D platformer thing, like Mario 64 and everything sort of came after that. I never really got into it. It was weird. One of those things that just totally passed me by. Same with like, Tomb Raider and Uncharted, because they're basically just the same thing with guns. I just never, it just never gelled with me. Never did when I was a kid, because you got bullied for liking it. Yeah, kids can be pretty dicks, pretty big dicks about stuff like that. And it does. A lot of those games do have that kind of like very sort of young feel, which I always find weird because Mario basically has the same vibe, but Mario's cool. I don't know how they managed to achieve that. Playing the remastered version for the first time. Nice. Is it good? I mean, obviously if you're doing your nutting, you're not having a very good time, but ready to play. But yeah, they're remastering a lot of old stuff just now, which is nice. It's not bad, it's just fucking tedious. Fair enough. Fair enough. Someone is going to duplicate this. 8 platforms, vehicle sections, yeah. It's just one of those things that just shouldn't exist. It's like when you have first-person shooter with a platforming section. You're just kind of like, I don't want to spend my time playing Doom and having to fucking look down to see where my feet are on the edge or something. You're like, don't mix mechanics. You just don't mix game mechanics. Doesn't make sense. That said, I'm building an RPG with golf mechanics, so can't exactly talk. Okay, so I want this player list to be player list table, and player list 1 to just be player list. Like Golf Story. Well, I don't know how Golf Story works. I think I've seen Golf Story, and Golf Story I think is like is that not like a JRPG where you play golf? In it as like a sort of is like a mini game. If I'm right. I have those sections and yeah, totally. You could make them not shite if you tried. But yeah, Snowbuckle, what I've built is not like an RPG that you sort of walk through normally and then play golf in that. Like is the battle section. What I'm building is an RPG where you are a golf ball and all of your movement is golf movement, like all of it. So when you're in combat, it's like turn-based combat, but you would basically set up your shot. So if you're using like a melee weapon, you'd be like, right, okay, that enemy's over there, I need to hit myself so that I land next to them and then strike them. Or if you're doing like if you've got a bow and arrow, you'd do it so that you would hit your shot and like fly up, and then when you're at a certain height or whatever, you would like while you're flying, you would use your bow and arrow, so you would like jump around trees and curl yourself and then fire at them. And I've got a lot of it built, but a lot of the sort of starting island kind of built, but I need to build the quest mechanic so that it tracks the game state, tracks whatever quest that you're doing, and sort of gets all that pit running. That's kind of where I get stopped with that. But it looks really nice so far. I keep on jumping from project to project. It's one of the worst things about my brain, the way my brain works, is that I will do something and then just fucking jump onto something else. Like I've got so many things that I've started and not really finished. Where I need to just fucking yeah. I know there's a lot of people at Domino's Pizza that are like just the exact same. It's annoying. I've got notebooks, like anytime I get an idea, anytime I get a grand idea in my head for a project, I buy myself a notebook. It's like a wee ritual. I buy myself a notebook and I write down like a game design document or whatever, whatever notes I need for whatever it is, and I've got like 5-6 of these things like filled with shit. Only like 1 or 2 of them have actually started to be produced. That's one of the projects I want to do after I'm kind of want to use this series of visual music games and streamer tools to be a lot of learning for me, really, to sort of learn a lot of how to structure big projects, because the golf RPG is a big project, and it's like you don't realize just how fucking complicated something like a video game is until you start building it from the ground up, especially like an RPG. Do you know what I mean? If I was making a racing game, it's like there's a few mechanics that you need to figure out. Once you got them figured out, you're done. But with an RPG, it's like you need to fucking do everything. And one of the problems that I've had is like most of the packages that I've found, because of the game that I'm trying to make, it's like I can't find any scripts that have been written by anyone else that is in any way useful, because I'm doing something that's just so fucking different from anything that anyone else has done. It's like, why would you have a game that is like you control it like a golf controller? Why would you make a game where that's your movement style? And I'm like, seems like fun. Do you mean I love the idea of like, because it's one of those things where you're playing an RPG, and a lot of times it's like you spec your character's build, and it doesn't often feel like it makes that big a difference. Like Dark Souls is one of those games where like you can feel the real difference between the armor that you're wearing. You can feel yourself when you're in heavy armor being really slow, and you see yourself trying to like dodge roll, and just kind of character just about falls over and then fucking rolls across and kind of gets himself up, and you see that difference. And with the golf, it's like, you know, if you build your character as like a really heavy character, the movement that you've got is going to be so fucking different from anything else. So I really wanted to play with that idea of having the build being really, really, really important, because there's a lot of RPGs that you play that you're just kind of like, especially like turn-based JRPGs, where like you spec your character and you build your character, and then all you're doing is just clicking on a different menu option and getting different numbers. You're kind of like, all right, okay, so this melee character and this fucking ranged magic user do the exact same thing. As far as the player is concerned, you're just clicking on a different thing. Like, oh yeah, but look, they've got a different attack type that does a different movement animation, and you're like, it doesn't change how I play it though, really. Sometimes you put them in a different order. No worries, Starbuckle. Pleasure having you in. You have some wonderful sleeping times. And I shall catch you soon. Right, I need to actually do these things rather than talking shite about doing these things. Okay, so I want to have this as players ready, play players. And then, so this is our pinball game controller. So when we add a player to the list, get it though? Cool. Happy joy. Yeah. This is one of those rare projects that I'm like, right, I've started using this for streaming, I want to finish this. Am I right? I have 6 different projects in the go just because I'm disorganized. Same. But this is one of those rare projects that I'm like, I want to just focus purely on this and get this into a state where I can release at least version 1 of it as just the pinball machine in a state that anyone can play it. Any streamer can download it, run it, connect to their Twitch chat, and set up their audio, and then just run. And then once I've got that, then I can start building the other add-ons for this, which should be a lot faster. But it's hard. It's like fucking that bit in Star Wars where they're flying through the trench and it's like, stay on target. My brain's like, no, it's fucking off. Anything. it's just hard. What kind of stuff do you write? Incidentally, I'm as far as projects go that I haven't ever finished. I was 30,000 words into a sci-fi book. 34,000 is where I stopped. And then just haven't picked it back up since. That like a decade ago to fix that. But yeah, what kind of stuff do you write? Okay, I need my UI controller. Where's UI display? There it is. So, update player display. I'm going to put something in here. I try and keep my methods grouped together, so anything that's updating a player display, so something that's updating a player list display in my head, they're very similar, so I'll put those methods next to each other. You don't have to. Doesn't make any difference as far as the code's concerned, but 90% of doing this well is organising how you're writing. Update player list display, and this is going to take a string, and it's going to take a list of type string, and that list is going to be players. Okay, don't need two sets of curly braces. So I want to iterate through, I want to look through every got 3 blogs: an anime video games blog, a mental health blog, and a secret blog where I write daft short stories. I have a horror anthology, a horror novel, fantasy series. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I am. The story that I started writing was based off not a blog, but kind of a blog. I used to play a game that was like an online sort of space empire game called Astro Empires. All those last 3 books are might be been, yeah, same. It's hard though. Just, you know, you get into it. It's very difficult for me anyway to stay on one project for long enough because my brain just goes, I want to do something else. You know, you get inspired by something else and then you're just kind of off running down that path. Just, my brain sees shiny balls everywhere. But yeah, I started when I started playing this game. You know, there was forums, and this is like old OG PHPBB forums. And they had a forum for it, which had an RP section. Text Media, thank you for the raid, you wonderful human being. Welcome in. Welcome. How are you doing? What have you been up to? Are you playing some fun games, or were you doing some other wonderful things? Well, come on in, pals. My name is Gospel. I am a musician, software engineer, random mental person from the internet. And I'm from Glasgow. How are you? You were game jamming? Oh, nice. I am. I'll just show you this quickly. I'm building a pinball machine. But it's a Twitch chat enabled pinball machine, and it's a pinball machine. You may be listening to some music in the background, which, let me just build this. So I've got Ableton running. So my Ableton plays out of one sound card and into the other, and this listens to the audio input from the other sound card. And if I just switch this on, oh, I've got the display object switched off. Why that's not displaying. There you go. And then you can do exclamation mark play, and then it will launch. Thank you very much for the follow, Sticks Media. Then it launches. This is something I've been building for a while. I've not streamed me building any of it until now. Most of what I stream is music and some video games. But when I do the music, like this Ableton set, this is from a set that I played on Sunday, and I basically take words from chat and then improvise electronic music and just live loop stuff. So I was building this as a thing for chat to play with while I'm doing music streams, and then obviously once I've got it finished, I'm just going to release it for anyone that wants to do DJ streams and that kind of stuff and have cool tools to play with. Thank you very much. I'm glad. I'm glad you think it's cool as fuck. I really quite like it myself. But yeah, I'll show you some of the way that I've got a lot of it set up. It's so tiny. Hey, not James Acaster. Very glad you're not James Acaster. Let's just switch this display off. Canvas. So yeah, so like these squares in the background, the way I built this, they listen to a specific frequency band, so it's like octaves. And this basically allows me to set the minimum color and the maximum color. And it's the same with these. They basically have the same color script, but they also have a minimum scale, maximum scale script. So I can basically I can just apply those scripts to any object, and I can just say, you react like this to music. You listen to this frequency band, and you change your size like this, and you change your color like that. And these basically do the same thing, except they're attached to hinge joints. And they just listen to a frequency band, and when the volume of that band goes above a certain point, the motor for the hinge joint switches on. And that fires them. And it's nice. And I quite like it. But I did like a 12-hour charity stream, which is where I first sort of did this properly. And I noticed like there was a lot of UX issues basically where switch it off, get the nice lovely background music on. There's a lot of like UX issues where I basically said, you know, players have to type !play to play, and then !launch to launch balls. And because players have 3 balls, it was like Twitch chat was timing them out because they were hitting !launch too many times and all this kind of stuff. So I've automated that. So you just hit !play now, and that just puts you in a list of players, which wasn't in there before either. Music reminds me of Little Big Planet level 2 music a wee bit. Thanks. I improvised that on Sunday. What I do is when I'm doing music stuff, I take a word from chat. Chat gives me a word, and I improvise stuff that I think sounds like that word. Which is fun because a lot of times people give me ridiculous words that make no sense musically. You know, someone gives you something like I get a lot of space words. You know, someone gives you something like, you know, galaxy. Ata, thank you for the follow. Or Eta, A2. I wreck pronunciation on Twitch. I apologise. You're wonderful. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, but if someone, yeah, like a sneeze. If someone gives you, don't worry, it's a shit name. No worries. Yeah, if someone gives me a word like, you know, stars, you know, you can make stuff that's like jingly jangly and sort of spacey vibes and all that kind of stuff to sort of recreate that feel, and that makes sense. But people, well, one particular person normally, and they give me words like stalactite. I'm like, what does a stalactite sound like? Then you kind of got to try and work backwards and figure out, right, okay, well, it's caves, so you'd be some kind of like weird dark thing with lots of echoes and then like drip sounds and all that kind of stuff. And it's interesting because it means that like when I'm doing music, I'm like constantly having to think of different ways to represent things and push myself, which is fun. It's very Galaxian. The music or this thing, because both are sometimes. Yeah, I'll switch this back to one of my favourite drum loops. Yeah, I do like that a lot. Yeah, so what was I doing? Right, I'm building this player ready display. So I want to change the colour of this. I need this to be a bit darker. I'm just going to steal that pink. It's a bit dark. And now I need... that's the wrong fucking thing. Okay, so I want an update player list. That's the type string. And that's theirs. Don't all complete the rest of that nonsense. What's that drum from? It's from an old song by Skull Snaps, but you'd probably recognise it from Requiem for a Dream. It might be in Requiem for a Dream. It's a Rob Dugan tune called Club to Death. It was used in The Matrix, but I think it's been used in a lot of things. And it's just one of those drum loops that's just so just incredible. It's just got such a nice vibe to it. Bizarrely, I didn't have the sample until not that long ago, where another streamer did like a remix challenge, and like every couple of weeks for the challenge, he put in his Discord different samples to play about with, and that was one of the samples. And as soon as I got it, I was like, oh yes. You just put it in. But yeah, I don't like, it's the tune that was very popular when people used it. It's called Club to Death. It was fucked. What's happened? What's going on? I can't hear that. I can't hear that input because it's coming from a different sound card, and I'm not listening to that sound card, which is very weird. Turn the convolution reverb off. I'm not sure why that would have happened. Like a big tornado. I've got a lot of stuff running through reverb. Switch them off. It should be. Turn you down a bit. Turn that down a bit. Apologies. Yeah, I don't know what would happen there. Better. Is that still going crazy? It looks like it's still going crazy on the levels. Yeah, in a sec. You come in my ear holes this way, please. Yeah, I'm not sure. Schrodinger's audio issue. The only problem is, wait, is that still playing? No, it's not. The only problem is I need to switch it back to that other sound card, in order for me to test the game. So I just switch off that, right? If I play on this, now the only way I'll be able to hear that is through the pinball machine. Nope, that's not the pinball machine. Where are you? There you are. So when I hit play on this, I should listen to what that was doing. Oofed. Oofed. Yeah, that's not good. I think there's some weird driver issue there. Need to reset the audio drivers. That's annoying. It's weird, like I did a 12-hour charity stream and had that pinball machine running the whole time and it was fine. It's totally fine. Don't want to save changes to this. No, I don't. Restart Ableton should restart the drivers. Guess I use SCO drivers, which they're much lower latency, which is much better for doing live performance. Chilled, please. But I think the problem is because I'm running so many different things that are all looking at audio, that might be what's causing issues. Stop being a dick, Ableton, come on. Club to Death is one I'm thinking of. It's a great tune. Great tune. It's definitely in the Matrix, also probably in a lot of other things as well. The Requiem for a Dream. I mean, around about the same sort of time. I wouldn't be surprised if it was used in it as well. It might very well be. Right, okay, so turn these things off. Every cunt used in YouTube videos in 2008. Yeah. Very, very likely. Right, where is Pinball? There is Pinball. Are you going to sound fucked? Please don't sound fucked. Yeah, that's not good. No idea why that's happening. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty far gone. Normally that happens when there's a sample rate mismatch. And it just bit crunches the whole fucking thing trying to figure out what to do. What are you playing? You're playing at 44. Where is my audio sync? Audio spectrum. That's looking at 44. That shouldn't cause any issues though. Best go to my bed now, but it was nice to finally catch a scream. Thank you very much. Wonderful having you. Hope you have a wonderful sleeping time and have nice dreams about whatever it is that you like. I want you tonight to have a dream about your favourite thing in the whole world. Whatever that is, you dream about that. You dream about your favouriteest thing. These things, like, I've just hit play to see if that's still happening. Because it wasn't happening before. I don't know what's jumped in. And I can just see on OBS that the two Oh, wait a minute. I know why it was happening. It's happening because I'm a fucking idiot. That's why it was happening. Because me, Gospel, this guy, fucking idiot. I can show you exactly what happened.
Can you hear me now? Is this better? As soon as the cam changed. Yes. Yeah, I don't have my mic on this scene because when I'm doing my music stuff, my mic comes through Ableton, which kind of fucks things up if I'm talking, because then you get double audio. Apologies, I keep forgetting every time I switch over. But right, so my sound in music, it should be okay now though. You should be able to hear it now. If you can hear my mic now, say, Gospel, you're a silly motherfucker. And if you can't, then just sounds like it's talking through a straw. Yeah, it's because I have audio effects in here, which make it do weird things. Hello. Is that better? Anyway, so the sound comes out of that one and comes into this one. And see these little knobs across the top? There's 3 of them. And I turned one of them right the way down. And what you'll notice is that makes things louder and quieter because that's the fucking input knob for that fucking sound card. So the reason it was getting all crackly and distorted to fuck is because me, in my fucking infinite wisdom, just idly drifted my hand over here and just started fucking twiddling shit. Like a dick. Like a fucking asshole. Basically what I did. So that's fun. Isn't it? Love it.
Yeah, you love to see it. That mic should be muted. Nothing should be coming out of Ableton. So why is that core input still half coming on? That's weird. Nice to know. So we fuck up, they can be fixed. Not a sound card on the way out. Yeah, I wasn't that long ago that I was doing a stream and I knocked over a pint glass of water onto my nice sound card. Luckily, it didn't completely wreck it, but one of the knobs is broken. So that's not fun. But if I put this on, music will be very loud, so I'll turn that down. I'll check it here. You might hear a bit of audio doubling. That's better, isn't it? That's better. Honestly. Back on track, back in the room. Enjoy how well the pinball visualization was getting when the levels were maxed, right? Like everything's just like, again. But you can play this if you want. So if anyone wants to type !play, you can play yourself some pinball. Yes! So you should be added to a list. I want to just make sure that works. See, I've got you in that list. And if I do !play as well, I'll be added to that list as well. That should work. Ooh. Oh, it's just not giving me the timing. Oh, see? So close. So close. Oh. Oh, it's out. Yes! Boing. What part of the audio controls the flippers? So, let me just show you. So I got pinball table. So the right flipper is listening to band 5, which is like the like an octave. So that's sort of mid range, sort of upper mid. So the right one is essentially listening to not James Acaster. Thank you very much for the follow. Glad to know that whoever the human being is who's not James Acaster, which is, you know, the entire population of the planet -1 in terms of the possibilities of who that could be. I'm glad to have you following. Anyway. But yeah, so the right flipper is listening to like the sort of snare. You can see it going on the snare. And the left flipper is listening to band 2, which is deeper. So that's listening to the kick drums. That's how I've got it set up. The other parts of it, the other sort of sound reactive elements, I basically can change colour and scale and stuff like that based on whatever frequency I want to listen to. It is a launch pad, yes. I've got an Ovation launch pad and a launch control, although the launch control is quite finicky. To be fair, of all the people who aren't James Acaster, he's the one who's the closest. It's fair enough. Happy times. I know someone who's met James Acaster. Edinburgh's nicest boy, I'm pretty sure has met him. I haven't, although I have met a lot of comedy people. A friend of mine runs a double-decker bus that is also a comedy venue at the Edinburgh Fringe, and we work behind the bar for him quite often, which is nice. So the next part that I'm basically building just now is there's a list of players. Where are we? Game controller. So you can see up here there's a list of players for who's playing next. Oh, this is the other thing I need to fix, is that you keep getting stuck in this corner because the beats just keep pushing it up. Which is, oh, there you go, it's got out. Which is fine. I just need to kind of figure out a way to make it a bit less sticky. Just probably increase the angle of it so it rolls further. Because this happened when I was doing my I was doing a big charity stream. I was doing music for basically 12 hours and I had this in the background sometimes. And when people get stuck up there, I would hang on, let's see if I can just go into effects. Let's fill it right. Oh. Never been able to do that before. Managed to actually smash the ball through the wall there. That shouldn't happen. But thankfully, I can do that. I just reset she and launches again. Also got some nice effects. Yeah. You know it's gone to me. It shouldn't have gone to me. Oh no, Sticks Media came in after me, didn't you? Yes. Ah, cool. Bit of making something can be great fun. Yeah. That's not supposed to happen. Yeah, exactly. The happy accidents. I remember a mate of mine who I used to work with, he was talking about when he was doing game dev and he was building like a sort of first person shooter and he accidentally wired up an assault rifle to shoot hand grenades, but like at assault rifle speed. So like you just hold the button down and hold the trigger down, and in the space of like 2 seconds it would unload like 30 grenades as bullets, just like spraying them all over the place. And he was like, oh, that's not in any way good, but it's fun. Yes. Funny. Like this. So yeah, watch a hazard is the one firing it. Yeah. I don't think he kept that in his project for very long. I think the grenade gun was kind of abandoned quite quickly. Yeah, so I need to, like, exclamation mark launch is something that I had in until today when I was sort of started rebuilding it, so I just need to take that out of the display. So I'm going to have different game modes where you can use that to launch the ball, but at the minute I've just made it go automatic. So now you just type exclamation mark play, and although it says launch to start, it just waits 5 seconds and then just fires it for you. Launch again. Just launch. Launch all the things. So yeah, so what I'm building, or what I'm just scripting just now, is when people hit exclamation mark play, it just adds everyone into a list, and then it just runs through that list. So players just hit exclamation mark play and then don't have to worry about any other commands. Because for something like this, I want it to be as automatic as possible. It's loosely based on the idea of marbles on stream, but just making it more interesting. I mean, you're not cheating, you're just in the list to play again. So when you run out of balls, you'll be the next one playing. I don't want to make the end screen more obvious, actually, now I think about it, because I think it's running straight into the next scene. So if there's another player lined up, it's like it's not waiting, it's just launching them. See, now I'm cheating. Go on then, play your pinball, see how much fun you have. Yeah, like, see if you can hit those tiny little things that are moving. No, you can't, can you? No, oh, the flippers aren't working. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. Oh, look, it's all moving again, I wonder why. Yeah, so the next one now just about to add in is a list down here, so that everyone that puts their name in, it's on display who's playing next and in what order they should be playing in. To be fair, I've been apparently doing that for about half an hour now, but most of the time I've just been dicking about and showing people how the pinball machine works. Fucking hell, it's almost 1 in the morning. It's almost 1 AM. The fuck am I doing still up? Making fucking ridiculous pinball machine nonsense. Just fucking daft. Just fucking daftness. Okay, so I need a display for here. Player display. Text. Player list. Disaptly. Player list disaptly. Player list display. Yes. So if I come back into Unity checks that to make sure it's fine, which is very handy because a lot of the time it's not. A lot of the time it's not fine because I don't know what I'm doing. Canvas. Okay, you've got that display. Cat doesn't give a fuck. It's like, oh, you streaming? Oh, you try to do some important work there? Oh, well, fuck you. I'm gonna walk all over your shit anyway. I'll put in the background tunes. Just turn the volume down. That's your theme music. Well, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's play this part. What it sounds like. Presume it sounds. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing is my motto. Don't know what I'm doing. Sure, it's fun. Right, okay. So if I go canvas and then lock that. Their list is what I want to go into that one. Yay! Cool. Mine is, oh no, it's me. Yeah, quite often it's me that's the idiot. Like the number of times, like fucking, when I'm writing code, I'll be like looking at something like this and I'll be like, why the fuck is this not working? And then I'll assume like the most technical fucking problem has happened, and I'll start like googling these things that are like really, really, really fucking in depth and really insane. You'll be like, oh no, the memory's not passing that thing properly, and I'm like, oh no, it is, that's happening. Okay, what about sound card drivers? Do I need to change some kind of crazy thing in there to make my setup work properly? And I'll kind of go through all this shit for like fucking hours, and then I'll look back and I'm like, oh, I spelled player wrong. Oh. It's a lot. That happens all the time to me because I'm a fucking idiot, you see. Right, speaking of me being a fucking idiot, how do I iterate through a list in C#? Sometimes I have to write a for loop. Yeah, okay, fuck it. So, where are we? On your display. So, I'm gonna get Yeah, it is a fairly universal programming thing. It's just, it's one of those things that I totally, I normally work in TypeScript, and C# and TypeScript are like so close, but there's just a few bits that go and kind of get you fuck. Yes, by day I'm an Angular developer, although I also do a bit of .NET, and I used to do PHP and HTML and CSS because I do front end. I also do graphic design and UX design and music, and just my brain does things. But yeah, I always find it irritating when it's like, I'm so used to doing TypeScript by day that when I come to do C# at night, I'm kind of like, is it the same? Do I have to do it the same way? And the answer is sometimes yes. The answer is sometimes no. Don't be fucking shit. Yeah, TypeScript's great. I'm a big fan of TypeScript because, like, vanilla JavaScript is just fucking insane. Just absolutely fucking insane. And then TypeScript's like, oh no, we can force you into using types, and then you can build up really nice interfaces and really nice sort of complex like data structures that are really handy and useful. And it's just like, oh, thank you. Yeah, JS is painful, like fucking painful. Always struggle to remember .map equivalent in C#. Yeah. PHP, oh man, I learned on PHP, and then spent a long time doing like WordPress dev, and then did some it's left my brain the name of the fucking thing. Magento. Fucking Magento, man. That's grim. And then did a lot of Drupal. Was working on a big Drupal project for a long time, doing PHP, and PHP's, it's weird. It was like that was my language for so long. Like doing PHP to build templates, and then using JavaScript and HTML over the, well, obviously HTML to build the templates, but then using JavaScript over the top to sort of interact with things and handle events and all that kind of stuff. And then when I first sort of learned like TypeScript and C# and actually like typing data properly, it was like, oh holy shit, this is so much easier. What the fuck have I been doing for the past 10 years in PHP? Why the fuck does PHP not have this stuff? Why the fuck is it when PHP breaks, it just throws out a white screen and just gives you nothing unless you fucking print everything and have a look through a fucking, especially in Drupal. Drupal's fucking horrendous. It's like you did like fucking just print dump massive fucking arrays that have got arrays within arrays within arrays, and then it all fucking just loops back in itself, and you're just, it's like try to debug it. It's just like fucking needles and haystacks. Type safety and telesensitive things that keep me in the plot. Yeah. Fucking right, man. But yeah, like once I get used to typing and data typing and stuff, like I go back to PHP is just painful, especially Drupal or anything else like it. It's just insane. It's just absolutely insane. And the other thing that I love about fucking C# and TypeScript is because it's so strictly data typed. It means that if you fuck something up, like Unity, I love it when you fuck something up, you basically alt tab back to Unity. Unity tries to build the project and then goes, no wait, you fucked up, and I can tell you exactly where. It's at line fucking 36, character 25 here in that file. That's where you fucked up, and you're like, yep, you're right, thank you for letting me know. Whereas PHP is just like, whole thing broken, I don't know, doesn't work. Okay. Done. Where the fuck was I? Oh yeah, for each. Oh fuck. For each. There. And players. See me automatically going array dot for each. Looking painful. Okay, so I need bit string. Display. List. Display plus equals clear plus fucking typos, man. I remember like a long time ago, I did a lot of Flash dev. I remember making this thing in Flash and spending like 3 hours trying to debug something, and it was a fucking semicolon that had been put in instead of a colon in one line, and you're just like, oh dear. I loved Flash though. Flash was one of those things that like completely revolutionized how people interacted with the internet in this like really big way, but it had so many like really bad fucking optimization issues that the internet was like, we like what you're trying to do here, but just fucking get to fuck. So you see the full fat Visual Studio syntax there highlighting, it was weird to see a typo there without a red squiggly. Yeah, there are a lot of extensions that you can get for VS Code that I've just not installed. Like keep myself on, like to keep me on my own toes. I mean, keep me busy. Right, okay, so once you're done with that, I want player list display text equal the list display display. Your typo alarm going off again, like, what is that? Oh, sure. Right. So, oh fuck, what have I done? Not closed something? Oh, not closed. 84 I was expecting. Let's just put this up here. And it should be, realistically. Too many characters in literal. It's the other thing with fucking being used to the sort of JavaScript ecosystem, is that number of inverted, whether it's inverted commas or speech or like proper quotation marks, it doesn't really make a difference. Not really. In C sharp, it's like, no. Are you using one letter or are you using lots of letters? I'm like, yeah. Switch these back on. Okay, so now I need to call this. Gonna be dreaming of this, seeing it's wild. What was that? Riot Bananas. Is that the Indeed advert that Riot Bananas is in? Guys, that's amazing. When Stream Team with him, I used to play GTRP with him as well. And when that advert sort of dropped, oh, I was so excited. I was so excited. Posting it up on Twitter, being like, yeah, let's look at this shit, it's amazing. And then I watched Lemmy yesterday morning just spend like fucking 45 minutes ripping that advert to shreds. It's wild. Oh wait, apologies, that was running off the back of that. That's me saying it's wild. I can't hear that music. It's not coming through my headphones, so I totally forgot that I had some vocal parts. But yeah, that was actually a reference to Riot Bananas video. It's wild indeed. Because he was doing an advert for Indeed. So when I was doing my music stream, I was taking a piss. Gonna have to find that bit of Lemmy's VOD. The thing was, like, Riot Bananas was in Lemmy's chat at the time, and like Lemmy was giving it to him like proper tight for like quite a while, and it was like, look, Riot Bananas, he was taking it really well. He's a good laugh. And after Lemmy's stream, I sort of jumped into Sheila, jumped into their stream, and they were doing the exact same thing. It's like as soon as I landed in their stream, it was just they had the fucking same frame up of the fake Twitch chat and the advert, and they were just ripping right into him. And then Riot came over as well, and he was just like, fuck. Everyone's like, come on in, Riot, come on in. Come get that thing that you were really incredibly happy and proud of, and the thing you wanted to share. Come and get that ripped to shreds again. Come on. Yeah, Dando and the Beeb. Pedro Panache had a nice VTuber about it too. I didn't see that. I saw there's a guy that used to be in the GTRP server with me and Riot and everyone else, and he's been doing a lot of like really good video editing stuff. Like one of his sort of things in the game in GTRP was he was doing like Louis Theroux weird weekends, and it's about 4.5 hours in. That'll be about right, yeah. But yeah, he took the advert, and the bit in the advert, the Indeed advert, where you see Riot Bananas looking down at his phone, and he edited in a clip of one of Riot Bananas' characters in GTRP flying a helicopter into the ground and killing loads of people. And it's just like him looking down, seeing it, and then being like, It's like, we know you, we know what you did. Really funny. Yeah, Dando and the Beeb, and Dando doing the stuff for the social as well. They did a nice video for the social about what it's like being a streamer. I think Toasty was on Radio 4 or something like that, like a week and a half ago. Because there's a few streamers that do stuff with the BBC for the social. Yeah, it was mental. It's mental seeing everyone sort of getting out there. It's almost like it's now like the BBC are kind of seeing streaming and being like, oh, that's a thing that's actually quite popular now. We should maybe tell people about it. Yeah, it's nice. I like seeing it. I do like seeing it. Right, okay, so what was I doing? Yeah, the BBC are one of those funny things where it's like, they do so many good things and then they do so many bad things that you're kind of like, yeah, I really like Doctor Who and I really like Inside Number 9 and I really like a whole bunch of other stuff that you make, but at the same time, just your news output is just mostly just shite. Sorry. It is. Could have had independence. Is there anything you can't do? Hi, main man Tim. How's it going? I don't know. All the things I haven't tried yet. Eat food, actually. Yeah, that's one thing I can't do. Eat proper food. I have a very big phobia / sort of eating disorder kind of thing where the texture of most foods like freaks my brain out so much that I can only really eat chips and sausages, and that's it as far as hot food goes. Can't eat pizza, burgers, anything that's not chips and sausages. Just my brain's just like extreme panic. I remember seeing like a newspaper article, good cornerstone any that exactly. Anytime I go to restaurants and I always order like a big plate of chips and everyone's kind of sitting there looking down at their crazy fancy food all arranged beautifully, and then you just look at my chips and they're like, I want them now. Like, you could have ordered them. Yeah, it's weird. I'm not sure if you remember winding me up in the jewellery store right after a robbery. Inside trying to buy a watch. I do remember that. I didn't realise that was you. I remember turning up at the scene. I remember turning up at the scene, and it was like my character's a news reporter, so it was like there to just try and sort of get news reportery stuff. And just being such a fucking wind up merchant. And it was funny as fuck. There was loads of people in my chat that were just like, I think you might have broken him. I think you might have actually broken him. When you say it was a phobia, but texture of food's a huge thing for me. Actually broken it, tons of stuff because of it. Yeah, I believe reasonably firmly that I'm somewhere on the autism spectrum, and that's apparently quite common for people on the spectrum. That texture is just like can be a really big like trigger of stuff. But yes, Tim, I do remember that. I do remember how close you were to just shooting me in the face. Because you'd given me a lawful order that I wasn't paying any attention to. Is that what it's saying? Yeah, there was lots of people in my chat that were like, I think you might have broken that police officer. I think you might have actually just broken their brain. I was like, yeah, possibly. And I think there was another time where something very similar happened, or I can't remember, but I saw your character somewhere else and started doing the same kind of thing, maybe outside the hospital. Like a couple of nights later, I think. And like as soon as I think it was like as soon as I heard the accent and recognised the character, I think my brain automatically went into like, it's wind up. So I wouldn't have been surprised if you had shot me. Local getting hit by a car. That's right. That's right. I did. If you're just sitting there like you're a police officer, you're just gonna let this person down. GTRP does weird things to you, man, I swear. I swear. Right, let's see if this display is working. Right, I'm going to switch this on, which means I can switch this off. Hello, Fiery Squirrel. Welcome in. So if I do Pinball on and do exclamation mark play, oh, that's not how you spell play. Not fucking. Hey, Fire Square, how is it going? Are you having a wonderful time? How was your Tuesday night? Why am I doing this with my voice? No one knows. Right, so I want to be firing this remote game controller every time you add every time you add a player, the player name, I want to do display that player list. My Tuesday night's going well, thanks. Just saying hi before we go to bed. No worries, beautiful. Thanks for stopping in. Hi. And I said this to someone else earlier, but I'll say it to you as well. You go to your bed and whatever your favourite thing in the whole world is, whatever your favourite thing is, you go and have a dream about that. You go and have a nice dream about your favouriteest thing ever. And I hope it's lovely. Okay, so when we're adding a player, we're doing that. Lovely shoes. So I want when you remove a player. Okay, so end game. No, that's not what I want. Reset player, no. Reset ball. Player ready. Now, what's taking players out of the list? That's it there. Right, okay, so when that happens, update the player list as well. Right. Let's save that. I know I've switched off the music for you all because I'm just about to pull this back in. Also, that's very high pitched. That's better. Okay, so if I do Pinball on, or Pin Balloon, as I keep reading it as, play. I'm off to school night. Yeah. Great stream, catching us in. Thank you very much. Sticks Media, thank you for the raid and bringing all your wonderful people over, and been lovely hanging out. have a wonderful time. And you also go and dream of your favourite thing in the whole wide world. I think this is connected to chat properly. Hang on. Let's just reset. Does happen sometimes. I need to put in a error handling state for it. There you go, that's better. Right, okay. If someone else can hit !play. Okay, so we're added into that list down there. Okay, how you're added in twice there? It shouldn't happen. Because you're only in the list once. Oh, I know why. Hang on. I need to clear the list first. It's in here. This is going to break when I switch back to it. Yes, it should break. There you go. It broke. I knew it was going to break. Right. Play. I'll switch the pinball machine on. Cool. Beautiful. That's better. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just I just want the timer, I just want the balls to run down just now so I can just so I can test that it works at the end of the game. The end of that player. I love that. That is off. Okay, that's cool. That little player list display at the bottom is working. So, I'm just gonna put a little F statement in here. F players dot count equals 0. Then I'm gonna do a couple of things. We are gonna do list display equals no players waiting exclamation mark play to play, and then we're going to display that. And what I'm also going to do is Gestro, yeah, wonderful cunt. How's it going? Been Clash watching this take shape. Thank you very much. It's been really nice building it. I don't know why I haven't actually built it. Done more building on stream. I just didn't think anyone would want to watch me getting really annoyed making typos. But it's good. It's been nice to do. How are you doing, Gastro? You recovered from just dying constantly playing Phasmo early? It's really interesting to watch. I'm glad to hear it. I wasn't sure. My wife streams under the name Cade Smith, and she was a big inspiration for me getting into streaming anyway. She's not been streaming for a while because she's started a new job that's eating a lot of time. Because she's working on a film set for a TV show, and it's just like the amount of fucking time. It's just insane. But she did some streams building terrariums, and I found it really interesting to watch. You know, just watching someone being exciting. So hard not to backseat the code. I can imagine. But feel free. Feel free. Like C sharp's not my usual language. Go out, just get some DVD with the troops, having fun. Phasmo didn't agree with you earlier. Not at all. You were taking many for the team. Quite a few. I will come back seat coding when I attempt to like chat, help me please. Yeah. I can understand that. I think my biggest problem is I forget fundamental syntax all the time. And also I get distracted talking complete bollocks and then forget what the fuck I'm doing. So that for me is like one of the hardest things is like when you're writing code, it's like it's a train of thought. You've got that sort of, you know where you've come from and you know where you're going. You know that sort of those steps that you need to take. And that's what I always hate about like taking a week off work and then coming back. I did that for my birthday a couple of weeks ago. I took a week off and then when it came back into it, I just spent the whole of the Monday being like, what am I doing? Like, what actually is this? And it just takes like fucking hours to like pick through it all. Like, right, okay, that's sending that there. Okay, right, and that's listening to that. Okay, right, and then you sort of slowly start piecing it together, and then eventually after like 3 hours, you're like, right, now I can write the next bit. Now I know what I'm doing. What's it doing? Right, okay, I need this. I need this to run at the start as well. I'll run it from here. So start, we should have playlist being equal to 0 there. So I'll do UI display. Update playlist display with playlist. And that should initially fire empty list in there, which should trigger the message at the start. I try and separate as much as possible what is calling what. So like I could quite easily have called that internally at the start of this UI display, but ideally I want the UI display to only be like a sort of dummy class that doesn't do anything itself, and the game controller is the class that controls everything, that controls the UI display. So any method calls on UI display should come from this class, which I found helps keep things nice and orderly. Right? How many errors are you going to throw at me? None. Yay! I win. Right, okay, save. So when I hit play, this players list should be Who's ready to play none? Okay, it's none. It shouldn't be none though, it should be a string. Which yellow triangle, sorry. Because normally the warnings would be in there. Yeah, it clears on start. You mean in here? Because that would be a warning. I have just realised why that's why it's not working. Where are we? Playlist. Yeah. Because that's basically it's running that, and then as soon as it's finished running that, it goes, aye, instead of displaying nothing. So what I want to do is I want to run this at the end. Should solve that issue, because it'll basically, what I want to do initially is when you run that display, it should clear that list display and then do things, rather than do things and then delete them, which is just dumb. Also, I don't need to call this twice. I'll just put that in at the end of all that stuff. Realistically, I could put this the other way around and put, yeah, that's what I should do actually. That would make more sense. Oops. I want that to be if that equals 0, that's, then put that for each in that, just so I'm not needlessly running stuff. You should be indented more. Thank you. Hey Seb. Want a backseat code, just backseat keybinds. Yeah, fair. Totally fair. Welcome in, Seb. How's it going? How's your... I was going to say Tuesday night, but it's pretty heavily Wednesday fucking morning. It's going alright. I see No Sleep Gang is wild. It's wild. It's wild. Which was looping for quite a while in the background that wasn't aware of. Just irritating everyone in chat. With that, I'm off. Choose the stream. No worries. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for following. A while indeed. It was going for a while indeed. Yeah, no, thank you for coming in. Thank you for following. Thank you for hanging out. And yeah, have a good one. I'll be possibly doing this again on Thursday night. And then Friday I'll be doing music and Sunday I'll be doing music. So if you want to hear some things, catch us then. But failing that, Eta, you go and dream about all your favourite things. Take it easy. How are we in this lovely Wednesday morning? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm tweaking this. On your music streams, do you take requests? So, unreachable code detected. Lies. So the way my music streams work, I improvise everything. It's kind of like live looping, like sort of the stuff that like Beardy Man does and that kind of things. So basically someone would give me a word in chat as a channel point redemption to send me a word, and I take that word and I improvise electronic music off it. And basically just keep running like that. So yeah, so it's kind of like it's kind of all requests, but it's requests for concepts and words. and I then just improvise nonsense based off it. But it's like it's non-stop. It's not like I'll sit there and be like, right, okay, I'm gonna write a tune. It's like, no, I'm just fucking playing. Then the next one comes in and I'll just fucking mix into it and jump about. So yes, kinda. Thank you, Seb. That's very kind. Request for a specific type. It's more a jumping off point, I guess, the request. So it's like someone would send me a word. Like say if someone said, okay, I want you to do music that sounds like the sun, I'd be like, right, okay, I'm gonna write something that's like really bright, and you know, you could interpret that different ways, and like I'd write something that's either like really bright and warm. Yeah, Jobby was good. Jobby was a good one. I think I've still got that's there.
Jobby.
Bezos was my personal favourite. That was good fun as well. I think that is Jobby. Yeah, that's Jobby. The thing is, I can't actually hear it. I just know from looking at that I'm pretty sure that's saying Jobby. But yeah, so it's like someone would give me a word and I would improvise something based on that. So like for stars, I would have like some melody that's like really twinkly and some sort of spacey vibe. And Squilky and Callie try and always give me words that like throw me in some kind of way. Can't club. Yes. So they'd always give me words like stalactite, or they give me striation one night, and I was like, what's striation? And like, oh, it's the stripes you get on rocks. And I'm like, how the fuck am I meant to interpret that musically? And I had to like fucking come up with like a really sort of rock solid bass line that kind of like took, and then have things that were representing lines somehow. I don't know. Had the geologist in that night. Yep. But yeah, they always try and chuck me words that are pretty awkward. But like I love it. I love that challenge because it's like trying to take something like really abstract and turn that into music. I find really fascinating. Because it pushes me in really weird mind places. And you know, sometimes someone just goes Jobby, and I'm like, yeah, let's just do some stupid Jobby music. And it's cool. It's cool. I think on Sunday I had Demon as well. I just ended up writing this like really banging squelchy acid number for it, which was quite nice. I do like writing banging squelchy acid numbers. Okay, this is saying. Alright, these are just. Oh, I've switched fucking ones back. I don't. If it doesn't stop me from running stuff. Remember the demon sounded great. Yeah, it was quite gnarly. I quite enjoyed it. Right, okay, so that's running properly. So if I do pinball on, pin balloon, okay, and then play. Okay, now it's, yes, no players waiting wants to play. Okay, that's fine because I'm not on that list anymore. So if someone else does exclamation mark play, or if I do it, then I'm Donkey King. Sorry, Dunnykin, Gospel and Twitch are there because we're in that list. Okay. Nimro's ready to play. Cool. So that works. The only thing I want to do, the only thing I need to do after that is remove that trailing comma, but in all honesty, can't be fucked right now. It's fast approaching 2 o'clock in the morning, which is not ideal development time. I don't think. Not the time when brains are at their bestest. It's so sad watching the pinball machine just playing on its own without any music. Just wee, doink, doink. This is peak brain time. I mean, to be honest, yeah, for me anyway, a lot of my sort of most creative moments are when I'm just staying up at this kind of time. I do have work in the morning. I am working from home just now, which makes it a lot easier. Could you have it listening to you then play it by speech? Yeah, I could. I can change what whatever audio input it's listening to. If your string.join instead of the for each loop, you avoid the trailing comma. See, that's the kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that's helpful. So how would I do that? So if I do list display join, literally string.join though, yeah. Static method in a string class, yeah. Players. That makes a lot more sense. Just remove that for now. Oh, so it should be do you want list display equals got you. Oh no, it's not capitalized. That's another thing that always bugs me. The fact that, like, by and large, you sort of capitalize data types and then, like, string, bool, and fucking float are just like, nah, we don't want that. We don't want that. There you go. Yeah, it's weird. It feels like one of those things that's just like, you know that any time they come to do like an iteration of the language, there's like loads and loads and loads of people who are like, we should probably update that so that we have consistency across the board. And there's like millions of people that have been doing dev work for so many years that are like, nah, can't it be fucked having to relearn something? So, pin balloon. Play. No more players. Play. Gospel on Twitch. Yes. Then you play. Yes. Thank you very much, Nimro. That's very handy. See, what I can do, right, is if I go over here, stop all the music, and then monitor the mic, and then it should just react to me talking. Of course, the weird thing is that I can hear myself coming through my headphones, but with a really slight delay, just enough to make it sound fucking weird when I'm talking. Also makes me talk really quiet. That's also because my wife is upstairs. Yeah, just enough to put you off. It makes you sort of talk in like small chunks because your brain's hearing it. I do, but this has got a delay. Normally when I do it, I'm listening on the sound card that's playing this out rather than the sound card that's recording. And yeah, having to finish with a few words before starting the next ones. Exactly. Otherwise your brain just gets jumbled. But when I'm monitoring, normally when I'm doing music, there's no delay, there's no latency. And that means that you're just hearing yourself talk as normal as you would when you talk. But it's because there's a delay, my brain's interpreting it as a different sound. I remember doing sound engineer at college, and part of it was like psychoacoustics. And in psychoacoustics, it's like studying how your brain reacts to sound. And there's a certain, I think it's like 25 milliseconds. Anything more than 25 milliseconds, your brain hears a different sound. So if you have, like, say if you've got a room with speakers set up, if the speakers are too far apart, you just hear two different sets of noise. So you can calculate that distance. Yeah, I'm going to switch this off. And it's off. I'd love to be able to monitor, even just for meetings and game voice chat. Can't justify buying some hardware to do it. Totally understandable. No, exactly even with the delay thing. Yeah, it's weird because it's like there's when they're building like festival setups and speakers, you have to be very careful about how they position them, because it's only once you get to that sort of size that your brain really is gonna struggle. Because the delay would be big enough for you to hear two different things. Because if they set the speakers too wide, then you'd hear the sound from one speaker and the sound from the other speaker is two different things. So you would just hear doof 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 between all the things. But if they're close enough so that there's like a less than a 25 millisecond gap, your brain takes those two sounds and kind of goes, oh, they're roughly the same. Let's just make them the same, merge them together, and that's what you hear. Psychoacoustics. Right. I think I'm going to call it there for tonight, because fucking hell, it is 1:45 in the fucking morning, and that's very silly. Brains are magic. I'm a big fan of brains. Beautiful. Who's on just now? Roscoe's probably. He's still going strong. Oh, he's playing Chef Squad. Let's jump into Roscoe. I tend to always jump into Roscoe, to be honest. In fact, is there any cunts on? I should really read a cunt. Shouldn't I? Alpaca Whacker's on. Let's read Alpaca. Read. I probably should have copied and pasted. How long have you been on for? 4 hours 40. That's fine. That's fine. Let's read Mr. Alpaca Whacker. Yes. All of you wonderful human beings. Thank you for hanging out and watching me make pinball machines happen. It's been lovely having you all here. I'll be back on Thursday, possibly doing some more of this. Possibly playing a game, I don't know. Cheers, clubs. Thanks for hanging out. Always lovely to see you. You wonderful human being. But yeah, and then on Friday and Sunday I'll be doing music as per the usuals. So big loves. All you wonderful humans out there. You're all amazing. And take care.